out a signal to the furthest reaches of space. A message asking why, without a reply, floating endlessly. All of the faces, the past in front of me. All of the solid colors that make up the how and why of you and me. Of you and me.
What's up, Stratford Nation? Coming at you. The best Ask the King. Ask the King, episode number 1. Three-pronged plan there for Blorgus. Big ups, everybody. Welcome to the best Saturday night ever. No, this is when we chill. This is when we relax. This is when we interact. We comment, rate, and participate, if you know what I'm saying, right? Right?
We're 150 people here on the stream tonight, and we got about 20 likes. It would be great if we could do better than that.
It'd be great if we could do better
for
than
100
that.
likes on every stream, if you could do me the favor. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for that. Before we get to that, though, let's get to a few business-style announcements. I have made a set of cards here for today. I still have a lot of cards left to get in the... A lot of people have sent cards not in the pool yet. But I had these in the chamber, so I wanted to get them out there. This will just take 2 seconds. I've created some cards here, a group of cards, entitled the Fan Art Series. So some of the most famous fan arts from the 8 years have all been placed into cards now. You can see them on your screen. Big ups to anyone that pulls any of these Fan Art Series cards. I went by the name that was given on the... Oh, sorry, I'm blocking someone's pull. Bill Brasky, Doctor Strange. But here we go. This is all the new cards available, and that's not even all of them.
We've only got about 30 likes.
That's the first set.
We need to get a lot more than that because we have hundreds of people watching.
And the second set's right here. So I went a little crazy. I tried to get all the, iconic for not right reasons, fan arts there. So they're all available. Big up Scarface the Claw in the house. Legendary. So all the fan arts now cards are in the pool. Big ups, everybody. Good luck pulling those. Other than that, nothing else to get to except for tomorrow. That being said, we'll be live, of course, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be hype. And obviously the fan fiction contest coming in hot next Thursday. And I guess I can announce it now. I'll announce at the end of the show. We have a special guest lined up for that fanfic competition. And I'll edge you a little bit on that. But anyways, let's just get to, you know what we do here. We watch all the Ask the Kings. By the way, Atlas the Bookkeeper was supposed to be here today. He forgot about a little Christmas party he had to go to. So that was out, but he will be back next week with a vengeance. So next Saturday night, Atlas the Bookkeeper will be here, rocking it live in the studio. It's going to be very hype. That'll be next week. Atlas the Bookkeeper will be here. But with all that being said, Ask the King, episode 1. This is it's actually the 4th episode of the MonkeySpank Monologues. We're finally getting to Ask the King. Episode 1, November 11th, 2010. You know I'm keeping track of all the stupid stuff. You're all legends. Let's fucking go. No more nonsense. Let's get positive. Let's move forward positively. Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the first edition of what's officially being called Ask the King, but was formerly the series called DSP's Inbox. The series where basically I take questions from the fans and viewers and answer them. First of all, before I forget, let me set my timer because, as you know, I've had a couple problems with these running long, and I can only do a 30-minute video for YouTube. So anyway, I got another collection of questions from the fans. Now, first of all, I just want to remind everyone I'm no longer accepting questions through the previous email that I used to use. All questions for this Ask the King series must be submitted through my website, thekingofhate.com. Go over there and register, and there is a thread called Ask the King. What I do for each episode is I create a thread and I stick it.
So the King of Hate, might as well check that, shouldn't we? The King of Hate, let's see if we can find this one. The King of Hate forums, and let's see how far back it goes, shall we? Let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes, shall we? Let's see. So can we find the Ask the King forum?
It'd be great if we could get a bunch.
Now again, a lot of shit's changed. Like I know if I go to the Wayback Machine, I can find it. But
for discoverability purposes.
Let's see if we can find it. Ask the King forum. Oh, here we go. I found the Ask the King. So how far does this go back is the question. Holy fuck. It's only 3 pages though, so I doubt it. It might be on the other one. Am I tired? Am I low? Let me know. I will definitely go through every... nope. This has been with the old forums, so they didn't get transferred over. The first episode we have here is Ask the King, episode 48 from 2015. So no, these will be the old forums, which you can still find, but I don't know. Do we want to see people asking the question we're going to hear right now? I don't think so, but, anyways, let's get back to it.
Everyone post their questions in that thread. That way I can easily review all the questions, and that's exactly what I did this
Flash
week,
paper.
which worked out really,
like
really well. Now, there's a couple things I actually want to review with everyone before I get started.
Uh-oh.
First of all, please, when you're posting up your questions for the show,
let's know this. This is probably going to be a berate, so get ready.
Be sure to post them up on the thread that I create. 400 people got that because there were roughly 400 questions up on the thread that I posted, but 19 people, for whatever reason, decided to start their own independent threads in that section of the forums. That's not how this works, and I'll be honest with you guys.
Is that a berate or not?
You have to listen. You have to pay attention to what we're doing. If you want,
that's on the line for me. A berate right there. Not quite berating, but making you feel stupid. That's for sure.
Those questions considered, please resubmit them against the new thread that I'll be creating later today. For the next episode, which will roughly be, we're talking probably will be the Thanksgiving episode. If it's really exactly 2 weeks on Thanksgiving, it would be the 25th, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it exactly on the 25th, obviously, because it's a holiday and I'll be with my family. So it'll either be a little bit early or a little bit late, but that'll be the Thanksgiving episode of Ask the King.
Great.
Secondly, I am noticing that a lot of people are submitting questions that have already been answered multiple times. For example,
all right, he went to berate with that multiple times.
Fuck this guy.
It was fine before he said multiple times. So that's our second berate of the day already.
Well, are you ever going to play older games or classic games? Or are you ever going to have a community play date where you play with your fans?
Yeah, I agree. The first one wasn't. I don't know why I actually have two. Let me change. It should be one berate for the day. I don't know why I already had two, but there we go. I'll fix it. That's our first berate of the day.
Emphasize for you guys is watch
you guys are fucking idiots.
DSP tries it. I'm sorry. Watch the old DSP inbox videos before you submit your question. Most of the questions that are these repeated ones I've answered already, and all you need to do is go watch the old DSP inbox videos. You'll have all your answers. I'm not going to consider your question if it's something that's been asked multiple times already and I've already addressed.
Can we get to it?
Finally, yes, I've already addressed this in multiple channel update videos, but apparently some people aren't paying attention. I know that there's a problem with YouTube where my videos aren't
Jesus, so far we have 3 notes, and they're all telling you how you are an idiot for some reason.
necessarily showing up in your subscriptions box. Has nothing to do with me. It's a YouTube-wide problem. It's even the largest people on YouTube are affected by it right now, and they're complaining to YouTube. So yes, it's a known issue. Please stop telling me. Please stop complaining to me. I have no
Sorry about that. People care about your product and they're asking. Jesus,
no control over YouTube site bugs, okay?
No control.
It is frustrating because a lot of people I know don't check every channel that they like to see if there's new videos. They rely on their subscription box to work to show them the new videos, and then they jump over to them. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. You know, even as a partner,
nothing I can do.
I went to the partner thread, which is basically a hidden thread that only partner channels can look at, and all the partners on YouTube are complaining. What are you doing? You know, we want people to know that we have new videos out there, and it's not working. YouTube said they're working the issue, but there has been no resolution. So nothing I can do. I know about the issue. Spread the word because I'm tired of repeating myself. This is literally the third time in a video within 2 weeks.
3-pronged plan. Third time.
I know it's an issue. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Good?
YouTube kind of sucks sometimes. Okay.
Sound good? Yeah. Jesus Christ, are we done yet? Berating everybody?
I do apologize. I'm a little bit on the congested side today because the weather's finally turning outside. It's starting to get cold here in New England. And whenever the weather turns, I usually get a little bit of congestion.
I've never heard him describe it as New England. Have you? New England. The weather's finally starting to turn here in New England? I've never heard that.
So just bear with it.
Okay, we're bearing with it.
And let's get to some questions. All right, good. Okay.
Questions in New England.
The first question I got was actually a dual question. Because I think this person asked their own question, but then re-asked the question someone else had asked because they liked it. The first question is, will you be attending E3?
E3, boys.
Is, well, I would like to attend E3, but it's all going to depend on what happens over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months with YouTube. If I can make this my full-time job, if it works out with
so the quick timeline here. He was laid off from Sikorsky, I believe, in what month of this year? I think 2 or 3 months ago he was laid off from Sikorsky, so we're still in that time frame. He's thinking YouTube could be a full-time thing. Not very sure about it yet, though, so that's where we're at in the timeline.
You know, helping me out, yes, that's something I'll definitely look to do. There's a couple of major things I like to do this year are coming up, like attend a couple gaming conventions, attend E3, attend EVO, get footage of all those events and put it up for you guys, but I can't do that unless this works out. If I end up having to go get a full-time job outside of YouTube, like I used to have, there's no way that stuff's going to work out. It's going to be too time-consuming.
Too time-consuming, dude.
That's the break. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep everyone in the loop.
All right. Thanks, guys.
The second question, I guess, was originally asked by a JC15 YouTube.
Second question of the day.
Here's the question.
Oh.
Phil, I want to know if you ever regret making Modern Warfare 2 Game of the Year for 2009 instead of Uncharted 2. I'm asking you this because, yeah,
Great
Modern
question,
Warfare 2 did
dude.
get a lot
I
of
always
awards,
wanted to
but
know
most people
this.
thought Uncharted 2 was the better game and Game of the Year. First of all, that is an incorrect statement. I hate it when people take their opinion and think that is the majority opinion. There
Oh, yeah, I hate people that do that, don't you?
was no majority opinion on what was Game of the Year for 2009. It was a constant debate between Modern Warfare 2 and Uncharted 2. Some people lean towards Uncharted 2. Some people lean towards Modern Warfare 2. And in fact, the gaming media
Perfect timing, by the way. this question.
Split down the middle.
13 years later.
Some gaming sites did pick Uncharted 2, including that Spike TV Game of the Year awards. But I'm sorry, Spike TV is no authority on video games. Okay.
I thought you said there's no official ones. I thought there's no official game awards.
Okay.
So who cares?
If they had their way, they'd probably just play Def Jam games all day.
Whoa! Why would you say that, sir? Why would Spike TV only want to play Death Jam games? Def Jam games.
But other media outlets like GameTrailers.com picked Modern Warfare 2. So it was really split down the
more white style site, GameTrailers.com, unlike Spike TV. Makes sense?
middle. I hate when people say, oh, it was definitive that one was the Game of the Year. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. Maybe you feel that way because you thought that one was, but it really wasn't. Now, my opinion, at that time, at the end of 2009, I did think Modern Warfare 2 was the Game of the Year. And I've already stated my reasons, but basically an outstanding campaign, even though it was short, really good graphics, high frames per second, really good gameplay.
High frames per second.
Whether it was during the campaign or online, and a massive variety of gameplay, and the amount of people that were playing the game online as well. All of that added to the overall experience. Now, just because the game is named as Game of the Year at one point, doesn't mean that things aren't going to change. And what I mean is, in December of 2009, the online experience of Modern Warfare 2 was drastically different than what it became within the next couple of passing months. Because what happened? Now, if you were playing the game at the time, you know exactly what happened. People found all of the game-abusing bugs, started hacking to do bullshit online, started playing the game in a way that it wasn't meant to be played, meaning they were kill boosting in order to get nukes and things like that. Now,
kill boosting, dude.
Okay, the competitive gamer might say, well, we're just doing what we need to do to win, but...
that's the competitive gamer voice. It's rare. It's rare to hear that one, but here we go.
You have to look at a game and
you hear the gamer voice again? What's this gamer voice?
The gamer might say, well, we're just doing what we need to do to win, but...
Well, we're just doing what we need to do to win. That's the real gamer.
You have to look at a game and how it was intended to be played. If you're playing Domination, which is a game mode where you're supposed to control 3 areas of the map to win and gain points. If you're sitting in a fucking corner camping, simply picking off people to get 20 kills so you can get a nuke and win instantly, that's not how that game mode was meant to be played. And it's a shame that Infinity Ward didn't identify that and go back and fix their mistake. In my personal opinion, things like nuke boosting or the nuke itself should have only existed in games like Team Deathmatch, because in Team Deathmatch, that's what your goal is. Kill as many people as possible without dying and then win the match. So, yeah, in that kind of a setting, it makes sense to get...
It does make sense. Holy shit.
She sucks his dick.
Oh, holy shit. Look who it is. Sikorsky Vice President in the house. Holy fuck. We see potential in you. I'd like to give you you went above and beyond what was needed to be done at your job. This is a complimentary reward. That's not even a joke. I'm looking to get A certified, and I'm also looking to get the you went above and beyond what needed to be done at your job. This is a complimentary award, which is harder to get. Some say they have higher esteem than the ACE award, but strangely enough, people don't hang on to those as much. People do hang on to ACE certifications, though, so big ups for that. I cannot wait for Sikorsky Vice President.
Good, get a nuke, win instantly. But when you have other
Can we get past this question, please? I'm losing it, man. We just started.
There shouldn't be a nuke. It just makes no sense. It doesn't fit in with those game modes. So,
right, correct.
on top of that, there were just plain cheaters. There were people who were hacking their Xboxes. They were fucking doing super jumps and shooting fucking unlimited grenades and noob tubes all over the screen. It was absolutely atrocious. And at one point, a lot of people, roughly around February, March, just said enough of this. We're writing this game off. You know, the game was outstanding when it came out, but we feel that Infinity Ward hasn't supported this game enough in the long run to
they didn't support it.
You know, warrant us to continue playing this game. And then in addition to that, Infinity Ward did patch the game, but guess what the patches were?
What did it do?
They weren't patches, they were fucking DLCs for new maps that were way overpriced.
Sounds like they're DLCs and not patches then, doesn't it?
Infinity Ward does give enough attention to release new content, but charges you way too much money for it.
A lot of people are saying
they can't fix these known problems that a lot of people are complaining about and want fixed. That's ridiculous. That's not community support, and that's why I think a lot of people kind of lost faith in Infinity.
I think we need a lot of people counter. Holy shit!
A lot of people.
Oh my God! Rapid fire machine gun.
Said, man, we love Modern Warfare. You know, Treyarch did okay with Call of Duty 3 and World at War, but really Infinity Ward is the top company for Call of Duty. Now that this happened with Modern Warfare 2, a lot of people have
Can we get past this question, please?
In Infinity Ward. And consequently,
game questions are the worst.
Apart, and the future of the Modern Warfare series is kind of in question right now. Looks like it might not even be developed by Infinity Ward anymore.
You got it. You're right.
Figure that one out.
Figure that one out.
Do I regret naming that game as Game of the Year of 2009? Absolutely not. Because when I named it Game of the Year, it was the best value for your buck. It had a really good campaign for an FPS game, great graphics, great voice acting, and it was a complete package. And the replayability in December, when I named it Game of the Year, was amazing. There were still millions of people online at all times playing the game. It wasn't a bunch of fucking dirty, rotten cheaters at that point. People were still trying to learn the game. So it was a lot of fun. And this happens over time. I mean, people might say this is my favorite fighting game of all time, and then 2 years down the road, when all the broken stuff of that game is uncovered, they might hate the game. This happens repeatedly with competitive style games.
Competitive style games?
And so,
as opposed to competitive games?
Game of the Year for 2009, in my opinion, was Modern Warfare 2. The game actually decreased in value the longer it was out and the more that was discovered about the game and how to abuse the game.
Decrease in value. The game has can depreciate in value. Okay.
So, it happens. Too bad. Deal with it. I don't regret my pick. My pick was legitimate, and I still stand by it.
Okay. Congratulations.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way, that question was from Red for Dead 3KB. Forgot to mention that. Okay.
Big ups, Red for Dead.
Next question. Is there anything that you consider going pro for, as in dedicating your time into that game and playing the game professionally? I heard you would like to get into Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But is that still viable now that you're trying to do YouTube videos as a full-time job? Therefore, you might feel obligated to play different games, which would hinder you from going pro in a game. And so basically, in summary, is there any game you would consider going pro for? And now that you're doing YouTube full-time, do you feel obligated to play games that would hinder you from growing pro? Or would you think you'd find a way to balance it out?
Oh, God. Longest question of all time. Could we please get past this?
I honestly don't know how to pronounce this. It's either Haas or Hasse or Hasse, H-A-S-S-E. Whatever. Thank you for the question.
God, make you feel like an idiot for your name. I'll tell you that.
Very, very few games right now worth going pro.
Hasse.
And when I say that, I mean a game
Vikes, this hat, the horse of the hat is he bought it. He went to Texas for, I believe it was Texas Brawl. Don't quote me on that one, though. And he bought a cowboy hat there.
To dedicate enough time to it to become one of the best, if not the best, and you'd be able to go win tournaments and actually win money, and actually win enough money to support yourself. It just doesn't exist right now.
It doesn't exist, dude.
Probably the only two games where you could do it would be games that are like major games in the MLG or those similar types of circuits. So
Danny DADK says Call of Duty had a great campaign. He was on drugs. Well, who knows? You know him. If it's easy, then the campaign's great. Oh, Nashville. Fear America is correct. It's not Nashville. I always lump those together in my mind, which is not right. But Texas, to me, is where Nashville is. But that's not true. Nashville's in Tennessee. That's where it was, exactly.
Those similar types of circuits. So we're talking StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, which has been around forever and is now dying out. And, Call of Duty and Halo. Those are pretty much the four games that you'd be able to do that. Now, I know a lot of people say Justin Wong.
Hey, look at that timing! You saw it, right? I can't make it happen again, but Justin Wong was on while he said Justin Wong. That is extremely rare. Big up.
Games that you'd be able to do that. Now, I know a lot of people say Justin Wong, Justin Wong, Justin Wong. You have to understand something about Justin Wong. He was the only
Are we getting Justin Wong slander? This is what we're here for. Here we go. Hang on to your butts, Justin.
Justin
You're
Wong,
about to get owned by the king.
Justin Wong. You have to understand something about Justin Wong.
Oh, curls and twirls with Jenna rocking a very interesting haircut. That's kind of a match. Somewhat.
He was the only person.
Yeah, he did. He summoned Justin Wong 3 times. If you say Justin Wong 3 times, this happens. You get a free. What happens when you? What happens? What does 4th place get?
4th place doesn't get anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. He summoned him, so that wasn't free.
Okay. In the United States, to take fighting games so seriously that he dedicated full time for many years. We're not talking overnight. He became the best fighting game player in the country. This kid, since the year 2000, was attending so many tournaments, was playing so much. I mean, he sacrificed so much to become the #1 fighting game player in the United States. And even then, he has to travel constantly. He has to play in a bunch of tournaments to try to win money. Now, finally, he's reaching a level where he's starting to get sponsorship. He's starting to get name notoriety.
We're trying to downplay the 10,000 hours, or probably way more than 10,000 hours that Justin Wong put in.
I strongly urge you, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe.
Like we're downplaying Justin Wong's hard work. That's what we're doing here. That's all we're doing here.
He's doing things where he doesn't have to play games constantly anymore, but it took him 10 freaking years.
Yeah. So even more respect should be thrown his way.
So, honestly, do I consider that, if I'm going to go pro, am I going to be able to dedicate that kind of time? Do I have 10 years to give up? I'm 28. No, I don't have 10 years to give up.
And Justin Wong, I believe, is the same age as you, if not maybe a little younger at most. You know what I'm saying? Chris Dorner, respect Jessica. I tried to find where he said Vons. Can you help me? He said Vons. Chat, you can help me too. But I think that was in the employment series in the 2nd episode with Wells Fargo. That is what I remember. Oh, never mind. Zarastri says the Circuit City job at the job interview. Correct. This is absolutely correct. Mine was total slander. Not even a nugget of truth. Well, let's go.
Do I have 10 years to give up? I'm 28. No, I don't have 10 years to give up of my life.
Let's check in on that. Justin Wong's birthday. Because I know he says kid. Can you believe this, kid? Justin Wong was born in 1985, so he's 3 years younger than DSP. And yes, he's a kid, I guess, because he's 3 years younger than Phil at this point. Now,
that's not to say that if, YouTube is my full-time job and this works out, that I won't be able to dedicate a lot of time to it. In fact, when Street Fighter 4 came out, a lot of people wished that I could have dedicated more time to that and gotten better at it and basically given more tutorials, things like that, attended more tournaments and gotten good at it. Marvel 3 might be my opportunity to do that. And the other good news about that is Connecticut, back in the day, was actually one of the largest states for Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We were heavily in the competitive scene. Chances are there might be some people who want to come out of retirement to try to play this game, and if that's the case, there might be enough competition in Connecticut to learn enough about the game to go compete otherwise, at majors, things like that. So, is there potential there for me to play Marvel 3 at a high level? Yes. But I really strongly believe the only way I'll be able to do it is, #1, if YouTube does become my full-time job, and #2, enough people do support me and my effort to do that. They understand
we need your buy-in, motherfucker. We need your fucking buy-in.
That there might be some sacrifice, and I might not be playing every single game that comes out. Now, keep in mind, this YouTube has been my full-time focus since October 1st, basically, of 2010.
There you go.
So I've only been doing this for about a month and a half now as a full-time thing.
How's it go?
It just so happens this has been the 4th quarter of the year. There's been a bajillion games coming out, which is to be expected. This happens every year.
Gaming season, hardcore gaming season.
Say March, April, or whenever Marvel comes out, there might not be a lot of games coming out. There might only be like 1 game a week. So yeah, I could sacrifice 2 days a week if I can spend the other 4 or 5 playing Marvel 3 and still practicing. So could it potentially work out? Yes. Will it work out? That remains to be seen.
Oh, double cat.
The other game, like I said, Halo or Call of Duty, do I really feel that I could play it enough to compete on a competitive level?
No.
The bottom line is, I probably could, but the answer is, do I want to? And,
Of course, I probably could. I probably could, you know, but do I want to? I don't know.
Is I probably could,
Uh-huh.
but the answer is, do I want to? And do I know enough about that scene to travel and to enter tournaments and to do well? Especially because usually that's a team-based thing. The answer is probably not. Although I would
Yeah,
enjoy
no friend. You gotta have friends for that.
trying it, it might be a failed experiment, and basically being the fact that this is, again, if this is going to be my full-time focus, if I'm going to dedicate time to something, I don't know if it's going to be worth it to dedicate it to something I don't know that much about. So
Okay.
those are possibilities. Chances are those aren't going to happen. The biggest chance would probably be Marvel 3 at this point, and we'll see what happens, again, with this being my full-time focus and if it works out.
Okay. Finally.
All right, about 15 minutes in. Actually, around 16 minutes. Next
question.
Is, hey DSP, if you're going to EVO next year, will you have your own booth?
Big ups, Chris Dorner, respecter. Also, I love the way you talk. You can do radio. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'm doing radio now. It's Stratford, Connecticut. WPIG is 1651.
People or just looking around and play some matches, and that's from Decoy 111.
Big ups, Decoy 111.
Bottom line is this: I don't run
Hey!
EVO. To my knowledge, the booths that they have there are usually vendors who are selling stuff and things like that. Could I possibly talk to EVO staff about having my own booth? Yes. But being the fact that I haven't really gotten along with them in quite a long time.
Hey, this is Cannon Brothers. Here we go. It's all coming together. So, could you have a panel at EVO? I could do that, but there's that pesky Cannon Brothers problem, you know? We don't really get along, if you know what I'm saying.
Usually vendors who are selling stuff and things like that. Could I possibly talk to EVO staff about having my own booth? Yes.
Yes.
But being the fact that I haven't really gotten along with them in quite a long time, it'd probably be a pretty stupid question.
I agree.
More than likely, if I go to EVO,
They banned you from their site. Oh, shit, not Rambo again. They banned you from their site as many times as, like 6 times, because so much of an asshole you are on SRK forums. At least he's being honest here.
I might not be playing every single game that comes out.
Shut up.
Team-based thing.
Oh,
I will be there. I will be hanging out, playing some games, entering certain. To my knowledge, the booths that they have there usually this year, pictures with people, or just looking around and play some matches. Biggest chance would probably be Marvel 3 at this point, and we'll see what happens. Is you like from I'll talk to EVO staff about having my own booth? Yes. But being the fact that I haven't really gotten along with them in quite a long time would probably be a pretty stupid
Wonder how that happened.
More than likely, if I go to EVO, I will be there. I will be hanging out, playing some games, entering certain tournaments. But I might have a meet and greet or something outside of EVO myself if I'm there. If I know that there are enough fans there who want
A meet and greet outside of the event.
to meet me and, just talk a little bit, hang out, maybe get some stuff signed or whatever, play a couple casual games, I'd be willing to try to arrange something like that. So it's not out of the question. I just don't think it would really officially happen at EVO, especially with my history with the people who run Evolution and Shoryuken.com.
Hey, what's that history? I'm interested in you telling us about that history, sir. Well, that sounds pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's something we have to see what would happen in the future. Obviously, if
L Sandwich, current pool price, 25K. 25K is the current pool price. Also, if you try to do gamble with negative points, it will set your points to 0, so do not do that. Because that's to try to stop the trolls from fucking up the game. So if you try to gamble with negative money, or points, I mean, it will go to 0, all right? I've had it with the nonsense. All right, let's go.
this isn't my full-time focus, I'm a lot more limited in what I can do. I'm going to not be able to spend as much time in Vegas. I might not even be able to go to EVO, so we have to see what happens.
Okay, anyways. Next question, finally.
Next question. I think this...
94
okay, sorry, I
questions.
misread it.
We're 6 questions away from our 100th question. Pretty hype. Let's get ready
This
for it.
question is one that every human should publicly answer at one point. Okay, here it comes. It's going to be a big one. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Is this a question we're not going to answer because it's too stupid? When you answer all these fucking gaming questions no one gives a fuck about? Let's go.
Okay.
I know that's being sarcastic. People do care about his gaming takes, but you know what I'm saying.
What is your favorite dinosaur? That's from One Wagon Axle.
Okay. If you know the answer, don't say it. But try to guess this right now, guys, in chat. What do you think his favorite dinosaur is going to be? Or will he not even answer? I would say he'd say T-Rex as well, Weston. That's where I go because he goes for basic bitch of everything. So I'd say T-Rex. What do you guys think? He's not going to say Begasaurus or Gautosaurus. But I'm thinking T-Rex because Stegosaurus is good too. Yeah, let's see. Let's Triceratops. It's going to be one of those. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Velociraptor, Raptors. All right, let's go. I'm pushing it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well,
He might. Well, I think I'm 50-50. He doesn't answer the question, or he says T-Rex. That's where I'm at.
one wagon axle, actually, my favorite dinosaur is one that is not commonly known.
Oh, okay. We're going off the board.
He's actually the Penosaur. And this
Oh
dinosaur
my
actually had a
God.
giant dick that was so large that
Oh.
when other dinosaurs actually came to harass it or try to eat it, it would actually
Oh.
just slap the dinosaur
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I've heard some bad jokes in this studio, but I think right now we're in the middle of the worst one ever. This might be the worst one ever. Holy fuck.
across the face with this 30-foot long dick. And it wouldn't necessarily hurt the attacking dinosaur, but the dinosaur would be so humiliated that this other Penosaur had such a giant dick and was
keeps
able to slap
going.
it across the face that it would actually be ultimately humiliated and walk away and
It
leave
keeps
it alone and never
going.
come back. So, there you go.
Okay, we got. I apologize, but we we have to hear that again. I'm gonna record it too for Twitter because everyone needs to hear this shit.
Dinosaur, but the foot-long dick. They're
Here we
trying to
go.
eat it. That's actually the penis. My favorite dinosaur. That's from One Wagon Axle. Well,
Here-
One Wagon Axle. Actually, my favorite dinosaur is one that is not commonly known. He's actually the Penosaur. And this
Holy
dinosaur actually had a giant dick that was so large that when other dinosaurs actually came to harass it or try to eat it, it would actually just slap the dinosaur across the face with this 30-foot long dick. And it wouldn't necessarily hurt the attacking dinosaur, but the dinosaur would be so humiliated that this other Penosaur had such a giant dick and was able to slap it across
Watch carefully.
the face. That
Watch
would
carefully,
actually
everybody.
be ultimately humiliated and walk away and leave it alone and never come back. So, there you go. Had to be
Holy
gassed.
fuck.
I had to answer. Up next, this is a
I've
question
heard some bad jokes in my day, but Maron, that was one of the worst, if not the worst. Titus doesn't even get to hear that one. That's too disrespectful to him. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
from Green Knight 1138, and he asks, Phil, stories of video games have become complex and compelling over the years,
Great
especially in this
question.
generation. Has there ever been a game where you actually had a strong emotional reaction to something that happened in a game's story? Good question. And
He's gonna say no. Watch. I don't ever feel that deep about game. Well, he's gonna say something, but it won't be like that a deep moment. I bet that's what I'm going for. Or he's gonna say something basic, bitch.
Guys, my sister's not being abused.
Big ups Kevin in the house says I'm a cowboy on. Oh, okay, I got it. I'm a cowboy on the penis, so I ride. I'm dancing, begging I lie. That's a good one.
I actually do have an answer. The answer is yes.
Yeah, that's a prime AI thing right there, dude. The King of Hate on a penisaur.
There have been a couple games where, I felt at least some kind of an emotional attachment to the characters, whether it was because I spent so much time with them, or because the game was compelling enough, or, I don't know, maybe it was just a franchise. So, for example,
Oh,
I
sorry.
would have to say from when I was a kid, probably some of the games,
That was some epic.
example,
What's the contortion face here? There we go. That's what it engages. Ready? Engage. Gung, 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 gung. Oh, God. That was bad.
I would have to say from when I was a kid, probably some of the games that made me actually have feelings were like Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI. Of course, they were called Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy III in the United
It made me have feelings. How dare they?
States back then. But back then, games typically weren't very long. I mean, you buy Super Mario World, you can beat the game in 8 hours. You know what I mean?
But that's not how it worked. That is not how it worked back then, though. If you got that game new, it was not something you sat down in one sitting. At least in my experience, and I don't think Phil was like that either. Some god gamer, you did not beat it like that.
You buy a typical game, you can beat it in 2 to 3 hours. There's really nothing there that back then they were just simple little things to occupy you for a couple hours.
Simple little things. Yeah. They were all simple little things. This is like, he's using modern takes on that, even though he is not, like, he's giving modern takes when his takes should not be modern on this. Like, you could say games are more simple now, of course, but fucking back then they weren't. No one turned on Super Mario World and say, "Man, look at this. This is pretty simple game here." No one's saying that back then. Nobody.
And that was it. And back then you didn't necessarily know which were the longer games, the better games. The Final Fantasy series back in the day was one of the exclusive series where they really put a lot of effort towards character design, towards building backstories for their characters and making it that you would want to care about the characters, and really investment of time. Because a lot of these games, if you wanted to do everything in them, you had to grind a lot, you had to really get to know what were the strengths and weaknesses of the certain characters in your party.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah? Before we had strategy guide, you know what I'm saying?
Those games, I would have to say, in particular, probably Final Fantasy IV, when I beat it for the first time, and seeing the happy ending, and that all these characters who had gone through this emotional turmoil, some of them losing their family members, some of them losing their friends and loved ones, finally having a peaceful resolution at the end of the game really was like the first happy ending story for me that had. It meant something. Final Fantasy VI, on the flip side of that, for those of you who haven't played it, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but halfway through the game,
spoiler alert.
The whole fucking game changes. Like, the world actually ends, and it becomes the apocalypse. Wow, when the first time that happened, I totally didn't see that coming. And that was like such an original twist. Here you had a group of characters who you'd followed along for like 6 to 8 hours, and really were like, wow, they're going to have a nice resolution, like every other game is going to be a happy ending. Next thing you know, the whole world flips on its end, and people have died, people are missing, you don't know what's going on. And for some people, they never really have a happy ending. It actually ends up that they do lose their loved ones for good, or they
I wonder why Chrono Trigger's not coming out here. Like, this is the time, right? You didn't feel emotions for Chrono Trigger?
sacrifice
What's supposed to be his favorite RPG ever?
themselves for the sake of the good, and that game...
Some of his opinions are very malleable, very valuable. And, like, they change all the time.
It really did. When I beat that game, it really, again, had an effect on me. Like, wow, I've invested all this time, but I got to know the characters. These are characters that are going to stick with me for the rest of my life, more than
That's
likely.
the real truth.
Just as if you had read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Those are some characters that will probably stick with you for the rest.
Like, don't you kind of low-key, like, I'm not saying I'm some lore master of Lord of the Rings, but, like I want to ask Phil, like, a general question. Like, it takes a fan to know. Like, you don't have to be some, like, genius, like, next-level lore master of Lord of the Rings. But, like, just, like, give me, like, a little bit. Like, ask him a question, like, what's, like... I'm trying to think of, like, a good level question. Like, who do you think was the first one to touch the ring? Or what was the first hobbit to touch the ring? Or something like that. Like, you gotta know a little bit more than the average person, and see what he says, Because I don't think he'd know that shit, you know what I'm saying? He would say, like, oh, yeah, Lord of the Rings. They got the ring, and they got the Gandalf, the wizard. Like, I don't think he knows shit. He knows only the movie,
Just as if you had read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Those are some characters that will probably stick with you for the rest of your life. The same thing here. It was the same kind of premise. Recently, what games? I would probably say there were 2 that come to mind, and one of them is Mass Effect 1.
Oh, God, we're still in this
because
question?
At that point, I really hadn't played a game on a next-gen console that, number one, really required that kind of investment.
That thumb number 1. How long will it take us to get to number 2?
Of time. Number 2 had that kind of character development, and
yeah, the first person, for those wondering, the first hobbit to actually technically touch the ring was Deagle, right? The person that was fishing with Gollum before he was Gollum. He was still a normal dude at that point, if you want to get technical. think.
Really getting to know the characters. There was so much dialogue to get to know the characters that was optional, but I ended up doing it all during my first playthrough because I really wanted to get to know everyone. And then even having the choice of who do you want to have a romantic relationship, the human, the alien. It was crazy. It was like unheard of. And
Human, the alien.
When I beat that game, I remember that it was almost like everything fell into line perfectly. And you have the finale where you fight off against the final boss. There's the...
I don't know why that's not happening, Mental Health Matters.
Talking across the hall. There's the cliche
Oh,
ending.
what was that? Hold on.
The finale where you fight off against the final boss. There's the... There's someone talking across the hall. There's the cliche ending where you think that the hero is dead, but actually the hero survives. And, at the last minute... And then they have the perfect ending where basically, depending on your choices during the game, you get to see what happens at the end, which is really cool. And then the credits hit, and they play this really neat sci-fi song that's like a really cool, almost like a techno mix, but not really. It's really sweet. And I was just like, wow, that was the complete ending that I wanted for this game that I invested so much time in. I had an attachment to the game. I didn't want it to just end with a shitty ending. I wanted it to have a legitimate ending, and I felt it did. So... that I really liked, and then the other game that I'd probably say that recently I had an attachment to, at least.
There's definitely, I think it's cats. Okay, guys, this is going to be very hard for you to hear. But if you listen very carefully to Phil's audio, I think there's cats fighting outside his place. Now listen, I'll boost him for a second.
That recently I had to probably say that recently I had an attachment to, at least.
Yeah, there is.
I think there's a cat outside going rare. I think I hear a cat meowing outside of my window.
There's a cat outside going rare. There's a cat outside going rare. I thought it was my cat, but it's not. It's in this world.
I think there's a cat outside going rare. I think I hear a cat meowing outside of my window.
There's a cat outside going rare.
That's pretty cool. That's the first time I heard that.
That's pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a wildlife, dude. What? Who would say that's pretty cool? Who would react to that and say that's pretty cool? That's not a cool thing.
Out of my window. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I heard that.
What the fuck was that laugh afterwards, too? Look at this laugh. It's a very special laugh that happens after this, too. Watch the laugh afterwards. It's just not a normal human being. I mean, we all know that, but okay, watch after he says that was pretty cool, and then he does this, like, weird villain laugh. Watch.
Outside of my window.
Watch.
That's pretty cool. That's the first time I heard that.
What the fuck was that? Look at that.
Cat meowing outside of my window. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I heard that.
What is that laugh? It's like, okay, let's get it. Let's
meowing outside of my window.
What's this?
That's pretty cool.
Okay, you just said that's pretty cool. Here we go. Oh? What the fuck? The fuck is this? What are we doing?
First time I heard that. But
by the way, his mom had about 18,000 cats, didn't he? Didn't
80
she?
likes, everyone. 20 more to hit 100. That's
80
the
likes.
goal for the night.
Thank you.
The final game I would probably say is Resident Evil 5, because you had Chris Redfield returning for the first time in quite a long time.
Oh God, we're still in this question. I wish I could just skip fucking questions. I actually can, but I kind of want to, for historical purposes, I want to get all the questions on tape.
Finally, you get to find out what happened to Jill Valentine. Who, if you played the original Resident Evil 1, you probably had an attachment to those characters over these years and iterations where this stuff had happened. And I did, I played original Resident Evil 1. I played a couple of them here and there. along the way, and so I really wanted to know what was going to happen with these characters, especially Wesker too, because he always popped his head
Wesker.
in, but you never had a resolution of where was he involved, to what extent, and what was really going to happen. Even though a lot of people didn't like the game because of its co-op style gameplay, I actually did enjoy the story, and I thought it was
Chrono Trigger, his favorite game of all time, not mentioned at all. Games that make him feel
a
emotion.
really solid
It's about emotionality.
game. And to see the resolution at the end, that Jill and Chris survive, that, you know, supposedly that's the end of Wesker, I thought it was really cool. So
Definitely cool, Wesker.
it is what it is. All right,
It is
let's
what
see
it is,
how much time we have left.
All right, we're done.
Actually,
Number
we're
one.
at about the 25-minute mark, so we're going to actually split the video here, and we're going to come back with part 2 of Ask the King, which will finish off with the
Do we get a walk up and touch the button manual style? Here we go.
forum questions, and then we're going to move on to some of the questions you guys sent me on Twitter. So I'll be right back.
Oh, yes, we do. And okay, there we go. Part 2. Let's go.
Welcome back to part 2 of Ask the King for November 11th, 2010. Shit, how time flies.
I feel like that right there is iconic too. Right?
November 11th.
Right here. Right here. That's it. This is iconic thumbnail, isn't it? Am I wrong in that? There's a thumbnail that has this as the main thing, or is it someone's channel? You know what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying, right? This is an iconic fucking stop right there. Yeah, this picture is it. Down the rabbit hole, that could be it. That could be it. And yes, it is. Look at that. we all have problems. We all need help. Because there it is. We all need help. Break us out. We found a fossil. This is what I consider. That's why I love this fucking show the best, is because we can find fossils like this. This is archaeology. One day we will be remembered, everybody, for being archaeologists, finding fossils like this. We were there. All right, let's go.
10. Shit, how time flies. So here we go. We'll finish up with the forum questions, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the Twitter questions for this week. The next forum question is, Phil, if you could have a single superpower, what would it be and why? And that's from...
Oh, God. Are we going to get a fart joke or something?
And I apologize because I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's either Fozy or Foes. I'm not sure.
Oh, Foes! Holy shit, Foes! Okay, so Foes, guys, for those that doesn't know, Foes would end up being a mod for DSP. This is a deep fucking pull here. So, or is it... Fuck, don't say I fucked up her name now. But Foes is a person here. So Foes, DSP forums. She was in the DSP forums. Foes. And I do want to cover her someday. How do I spell her name, though? Fuck, how do I spell her name? And I can find it. Hold on, I can find it. Don't worry. DSP forum podcast. Yes, I'm a legend. Okay, so here, so I'll show it this way. Here we go. So here's some big lore here, deep lore we didn't expect today. But Foes is on the top there. She was a part of the King of Hate Forums YouTube podcast, which I plan on covering someday. But this is the person asking this question. Before she became a mod, Foes is asking a question right now. And she would become a mod for the forums in time. So the top person up there is the person asking this question. Her name is, I thought, Foes, but who knows? There she is. So they're a new girl in the lore. It's always fun to find those, and this is definitely one. So Foes in the house. Let's hear Foes' question. That was on cooldown, our S-Nerd, cooldown. You see, Catbot told you. Catbot doesn't mess around.
I apologize because I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's either Fozy or...
And as you... just spoiler alert on Foes' story, because we will cover Foes in a deep dive. But all the mods got pissed at Phil for how he ran the website, and they all stopped doing it. So everyone left on bad terms, basically, as you might expect. Working for free for the King of Hate. Anyways.
Foes? I'm not sure. But anyway,
Anyway.
I'm going to cop out, and I'm going to go the Arthur Dent route. And if you don't know what I mean...
Arthur Dent. Shoutouts to Arthur Dent.
In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a series of 5 books written by Douglas Adams. It is a kind of like a comedy / sci-fi adventure series. What
Arthur
actually
Dent.
happens is a normal
Hello, Mr. Dent. Sir Dent.
person ends up getting pulled through the galaxy and basically going on these crazy sci-fi adventures in space, which are kind of ironic. And what ends up happening is at one point, he finds out that before he dies, he's going to be at this place called Stravromular Beta. And he always assumes it's some kind of a galaxy or a planet or something. And the reason he knows this is because he meets this guy called Agrajag, who apparently
Jesus,
he has
spoil the whole
inadvertently
fucking
killed
story.
several times through his travels throughout the universe. Now, if you're wondering how that could be possible, it's because the series actually goes to the future, to the past. He travels through time, and sometimes he accidentally steps on him because he's a bug. Sometimes he trips and ducks, and a bullet goes over his shoulder, and it hits this
Spoiler
guy
alert,
who's
everybody.
just a human in that universe. So it's pretty crazy, the story. And
Pretty nuts, dude.
he finds out that eventually he's going to go to this place called Stravromular Beta, and he's accidentally going to get this guy killed again. So for the whole...
I'll tell you right now, Phil prepped for this question. He is pulling out details that he would never pull out. He can't pull these details out for, like, Beauty and the Beast. He's pulling it out for Hitchhiker's Guide, going that fucking nuts? Damn. He's telling you everything.
Place called Stravromular Beta, and he's accidentally going to get this guy killed again. So for the whole series, you're wondering, when is this going to happen? And then finally, in the 5th and final book of the series, he walks into a club called Stavros in New York City. And,
like, how do you remember these details? But he has to remember details of, like, games he's played 10 times.
what ends up happening is he finds...
Spoilers, everybody, for if you want to watch the chat, whatever's it called, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
out that, I'm sorry, I think it's in London, not New York City. Sorry about that. And,
Yeah, I think this is it, Crisis. I think we're onto something here. And he saw it as a female-style question, so he's kind of, like, taking his time with it. Because, remember, he would, a few years from now, find his first girlfriend from his fans, so maybe he was already searching, if you know what I'm saying. Excuse me, he's found both of his significant others from his fan base, so maybe he was starting a little early in 2010.
finds out that the name of the club is Stavros Mueller's Beta Club, and so he's like, Stravromular Beta, oh shit, this is where the guy gets killed. Immediately someone fires, he gets tackled by someone, the guy behind him gets killed, and then the world ends. So for me, my favorite superpower would probably be knowing, and I know this is kind of grim and morbid to some people, but if you knew the exact date, time, and how you were going to die, you would know that you could do whatever the hell you want with the rest of your life up to that point, and you're not going to die. So think about the freedom. You know what I mean? Like,
what are you going to do? Jump off? This is a dumb question. This is a dumb answer to this question. What? So you're going to do shit that would kill you, but you know it won't actually kill you? Like what? Swim with sharks? What? What are you going to do?
you could walk in the middle of the street and not worry about getting hit by a car because you know.
What a great power. You have a question that you could say whatever you want to say. You could have the power to make money, to make gold bars, shit them out of your ass. That's probably a joke you might say. But you'd like to be able to walk through traffic?
Great, guys. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. We're at 90. Come on, we get 10
There's a
more
lot
likes,
of ways
please.
to answer this question, but he found the stupidest fucking way.
If you get hit, you're not going to die. You know, if there's a guy holding up a liquor store and you're in the store, you can be the hero and try to take the guy out. Why? Because you know you're not going to die.
So, incredibly low chance of something like that happening, and this is what you choose?
So, you know, if you knew that that would be, even though it's technically not a superpower, I think just the knowledge of that could end up being a superpower because you basically become
This is the
invincible
worst way to answer this question. The dumbest possible way to answer this question.
for the rest of your life. So, I know that's an interesting twist on it, and it might be a little bit morbid for
Yeah, what about, again, that's still, okay, yeah, you could jump off the Empire State Building and not die. You still fucking get hurt, right? It's not like you don't have any, what?
some people. They wouldn't want to know
I
that.
can't imagine, I can't even wrap my head around how stupid this answer is. When you could say whatever the fuck you want.
But for me, I think that's a pretty cool twist.
Pretty cool twist, dude.
Okay, next question.
Okay, next question.
This is really not a question, but a suggestion. And this goes for everyone.
do I count
think
it or
would be
not?
fun if Phil answers at least one trivial or comical question every episode just for fun. Something like, what brand of shampoo do you use?
All right, I'll count
Did
this.
you ever have a pet? When was your first kiss?
4 more till
Where
100.
are you from? Assuming that Phil's not originally from Connecticut. Or what size shoes do you wear? I think that'd be interesting, and that's from the Green Hanger. Well, the
Green Hanger, get help.
You know what? I think that would be interesting. It's too bad you didn't ask me a question. You just made a statement. So, anyway, moving on. Up next, the next question is from IG9, and it is, I don't know if you've already answered this, but I was wondering, what is the download and upload speed of your internet connection? And the answer to that is...
I think, I'm going to guess this one. I think it's... Okay, here we go. I think it's 20 up, 10 down. This is my memory being tested here. Lore Masters, someone guess in chat. What's his internet right now? It might be even less than that at this point. I think it's pretty bad, like 15 or something. But I'm going to go 25-15, final answer.
It is basically the exact same speed of shit. If you were to download shit...
Oh, wow. Great joke here. Didn't see this one coming.
Same speed of shit.
Uh-huh.
If you were to download shit through an internet line and then try to upload and push the shit through the Ethernet cable back to the internet, it's pretty much about the same speed I have here. And that's, as I said many times, because this internet is cable internet, so it is the fastest available in the area, but because it is the same line shared by the 100 or so units in this condo, it is slow as shit.
So what is it?
What I've actually been thinking of doing...
God, he's not going to answer the
if
question.
this works out, which I'll know about in roughly 2 weeks' time about now, if this works out, and this could be my full-time job, I might actually contact a different internet provider. So I might contact Verizon or some other company and say, listen, I already have a line in my condo, but I'd like a dedicated line separate from them that I'll pay you separately for. Can you install a different type of internet? And whether it's fiber optic, whether it's DSL, and what I could do is I could have one line that's completely dedicated to YouTube uploading, and I could have another...
Shit, am I dropping frames? Looks like I am. My internet's going up and down, guys. Let me know if you're having too many problems. I don't know what's going on. It's very up and down right now. I have Spectrum. Spectrum fucking me up. All right, now it's green again, so we're gonna rock and roll, but we'll do...
That's for my web browsing, playing video games over the internet and things like that, and they won't interfere with each other. So the perfect example is today, I really want to jump on Modern Warfare 2. I'm sorry, Modern Warfare 2, what am I talking about? I really want to jump on Black Ops and play that online today, but I haven't had the chance because I've been uploading all the footage from yesterday. And if I try to play while I'm uploading, it's impossible. It's super laggy.
To say the speed. We wanted to get the speed.
What I'm uploading. So
the person asked for a simple question. What's the speed? And we're getting all this. Well, that's a good pause right now. What the fuck's going on?
Basically, if I could do that, get a second dedicated line, that would be great. Of course, that's going to be very expensive.
Very expensive.
I need to see if I can make this work out. And if this could be my full-time focus as a job, then it would be worth the investment. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. Next question is...
Did you... Still didn't answer that question. Sorry. Get fucked, person.
The last forum question for this episode...
Thank God.
...is from Claimkin07, and the question is this.
Here we go.
Hey, DSP, I was wondering if you downloaded the patch for Fallout New Vegas during your playthrough.
Fallout.
I asked this because another guy that I watch on YouTube, who we mentioned him before, SSOHPKC, was complaining that it screwed up part of his playthrough. Is it safe? Well, the answer, Claimkin07, is I downloaded the patch, and I don't think the patch necessarily did anything negative to my game.
Didn't do anything negative,
dude. Let's face it, that game had so many bugs to begin with, it's not going to matter. There's going to be a strong chance that no matter what you do, something's going to fuck up, and whether it's the long loading times are going to corrupt your game, whether items will mysteriously stop working for you, like my pass to the strips mysteriously stopped working, whether quests will stop working, like they did with my Brotherhood of Steel quest, which I put a significant amount of time into just for it to never end, and I never get the payment out for it. I can't help you. The game, unfortunately, this is why I docked it a full 3/4 of a point in my Hateful Truth review.
I docked it a full 3/4 of a point. I docked it a full 3/4 of a point. Full 3/4 of a point.
The game, unfortunately, this is why I docked it a full 3/4 of a point in my Hateful Truth.
A full 3/4 of a point, by the way. That's not a half 3/4 of a point. That's a full 3/4 of a point. And don't you fucking forget it.
Review. is an outstanding game, but they really, really needed to fix some of these bugs before this game came out, which they have not, and therefore it got docked 3/4 of a point. So if you're gonna play New Vegas,
Super Scuffer in the house. Thank you, my friend. Says, why did he 86 the cowboy hat? Because it's still around. It's still around. I think he still has that. He used it still for Ask the King. He stopped doing Ask the King because everyone realized he does Q&A every fucking day. Black Doom asking, did I miss any juicy stuff? Not any juicy stuff, I'd say, but you missed the dumbest joke DSP has ever done, in my opinion. Literally, worse than side scrollers. Rewind about 15 minutes, you'll get that. I'll put it on Twitter later if you're lazy, because that needs to be shared. It is holy fuck.
expect epicness, expect a great game, but also be ready for bugs that might hinder your experience. Okay.
Absolutely, ready for
I only
bugs.
picked 5 Twitter questions this week because a lot of them seem to be repetitive. So I figured let's just answer some of the most common ones.
Let's do the common
The first one is, what do you think of the Serious Sam franchise, and are you looking forward to
One
Serious
more.
Sam 3?
Next
That's from
question
Lord
is 100.
Angus. The answer to that is I actually played both Serious Sam 1 and 2 on the PC.
Serious Sam question.
At the time, I thought they were some of the most
Very important.
ingenious games ever made. And the reason I say this is this. They knew what they were doing.
Why don't you just say it if you have to say, the reason I say this is this.
They weren't making a game that
Oh, I gotta get the fucking gunshot, because that's what I needed for. We gotta get the gunshot for this right here. Ready?
made. And the reason I say this is this. They knew what they were doing. They weren't making a game that was heavy on
One-sided, bam.
story. They weren't making a game that was meant to be taken seriously. It
Uh-huh.
was really just off-the-wall, zany fun. It was
Off-the-wall
kind of
zany.
in the same vein as Duke Nukem. In fact, a lot of people said that those games were kind of the spiritual successor to Duke Nukem.
Yeah,
At that
spiritual
point,
successor.
people
Shout
thought
out.
Duke Nukem Forever was not ever going to come out.
Stop saying Duke
And they're
Nukem.
very basic. Basically, you are a guy who runs around with big guns blowing the shit out of everything. The enemies are absolutely hilarious, off the wall. Some of them hold their fucking heads above their bodies. Some of them are suicide bombers.
Oh, that sounds hilarious, dude. Suicide bombers.
Just crazy stuff.
And the dudes that hold their head.
And
Crazy, dude.
I like the series. I did not get them on Xbox Live simply because I'd already played them on PC. I knew exactly what I was getting, and I didn't have time at the time when they were released to really play through them again, which is a shame. But if Serious Sam 3 comes out, it's definitely something I would consider buying. But again, it's not a game really to be taken seriously. Most people, when they played those games, they did the online co-op.
Contrary to what you might think, Serious Sam is not a game to be taken seriously, okay? Who cares about taking games seriously or not? What games do you take seriously? What do you not?
With someone else, which allowed you to basically have unlimited lives, unlimited continues, and you just played through the game and had fun with it. And that's ideally what the game's about, having fun with it, not worrying about that the graphics aren't the best, that the sound effects aren't the best, the
Minecraft
gameplay
is.
isn't the best. It's just about having silly fun. So,
Zany fun.
yeah, when Serious Sam 3 comes out, it's something I'll consider playing. I liked the first 2 games. I thought they were hilarious.
Oh.
The next question. Out of all the game consoles
100.
you've ever owned, which ones were
We've been
your
here
favorite
together for
and your
100.
least favorite, and why? And that is from
What was the question? I just skipped all over it.
which ones were your favorite and your least favorite, and why? And that is from
We'll get the question.
Una Dixon. Una Dixon. Okay.
Una Dixon. Shout outs.
Okay.
Okay.
Great question.
Is it?
My favorite consoles. My favorite
console.
consoles. I would
Super Nintendo is going to be the favorite.
have to say, content-wise, my favorite console was the Super NES. That console,
ya.
when it came out, had an outstanding launch library. Ended up over time.
If you're late 30s, early 40s, it's like a contract. Super Nintendo has to be your favorite console. It just is. I don't know what to tell you.
Definitely having a better library than the Sega Genesis did. And that was because Nintendo was able to secure some really great exclusives like the Final Fantasy series, obviously the Super Mario series, Star Fox, Mario Kart, F-Zero, the Zeldas. I mean, there were so many great games for the Super Nintendo. And ideally, at that point, yes, the Super Nintendo did come out second, meaning it came out after the Genesis, but it did have better graphics. It really did. And
Does NES have better graphics than Genesis?
Thank you all very much for the engagement today. I appreciate it.
The style was different. Let's say that. The style. Oh, Snitchinator, 6 gold star for Grimbo during the 100 likes. That's a rare sight.
That wasn't a very good one. It kind of sucked.
Thanks
I'm
for
not
100
gonna
likes,
lie.
everybody. You're all legends.
I have to
Yeah, but yeah, Genesis definitely had better graphics, right? And also the music was smooth. I think the music sounds better on SNES, but this music was technically better on Genesis. But it just sounds better. I think the style of Super Nintendo music sounds better to the ear.
say that I really did enjoy the Super Nintendo better than the Genesis. I did have both, but I did.
Oh,
enjoy
you
the
goddamn right, you have both. That lower middle class lifestyle had to get both, right?
Nintendo better. Plus, it was one of the first systems where really you could save your game. Yeah, I know that other games previously you could save your game on Nintendo, but it wasn't like a commonplace thing. A lot of those games were still using passwords and things. The Super Nintendo was really the first system to adopt a full-fledged save system, so you didn't have to enter passwords in to continue your game.
Okay, whatever. Just let them go. You don't try to fix that.
And the control, too, I really did. I love the Super
Sometimes people say the dumbest reasons of all time for something, and you just let it go because, like, yeah.
NES control pad. I think it was probably one of the best pads ever created. I mean, you could play Street Fighter on the damn thing. You could play a Mario game on the thing. It was really outstanding, the controls for the time. So, content-wise, I have to say Super Nintendo was my favorite system. Now, if you're talking just technological advances,
Who cares?
I have to say that the Sega Dreamcast was actually the best system.
Sega
overall.
Dreamcast, shout out.
All. And the reason I say that, it was way ahead of its time, and I know you've heard that before, but the reason people say that is built-in dial-up internet. So, not so much in the United States because it really wasn't supported that much.
Oh,
But
come
if you lived in
on.
Japan, this was the first system you could
What's your favorite system? If you're talking technological advancement, who said we're talking technological advancement? Why you just say whatever you want then? What's your favorite video game? Okay, well, if you're asking my favorite superhero, that would be Batman. What's your favorite sport? Okay, well, if you're asking for my favorite music, I would say Iron Maiden, actually. What the fuck?
play people over the internet on, and that was amazing.
That was amazing, dude.
The graphics for the time were better than anything else out there. For a CD-based system, it actually loaded significantly faster than most of the other CD-based systems that were out at the time, like the PlayStation 1, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn.
See, again, this is exactly the point I made earlier. This is bringing modern style issues up when they weren't brought up back in those days. Like, no one's saying, oh, for a CD-based system, Dreamcasts have great load numbers. You would not say that. You would say the games load fast or whatever. And Super Nintendo, by the way, has 0 load time. So I have no clue what this comparison is.
I'm sorry, CD was already outdated by that point. Things like that. So
What?
really, it was one of the few systems that really, it was like it perfected the technology of the time. It
He's just trying to say stuff.
added new technology. And it even had this cool little VMU. Now, at the time, a lot of people were loving this thing called the Tamagotchi, which was this little virtual pet, per se, that you could raise it was a little LCD screen. It was like a mini Game Boy almost. And
That's not true, Discover. I had a Dreamcast. I got that. I really wanted that. I think I saved for that one because I really wanted Dreamcast. I thought that was pretty fun. And you know, this is a throwback. The Seaman game. I thought that was fun as shit, man. Seaman was fun. So was NHL, like 2K something. That was fun. I had fun with it.
raise this pet,
And let's not fucking forget about Shenmue, motherfucker.
feed it during the day. It would be like having a pet. And, if you raised it, it would grow and become a healthy thing. And people were like, wow, this is pretty neat. It's different. Well, they took that concept, and every memory card for the Sega Dreamcast was like a Tamagotchi. Where you could plug it into the Dreamcast. It had an LCD screen. On some games, that
I say Seaman, but you could say Seaman.
actually gave you stats for the game that you were playing.
Oh, I love Seaman. You can feed them. They can throw shit at the screen at the tank. You could heat them up. You could make sure their water's aerated. It was hype, dude. It was hype.
Other games that would have additional content. So, like for Sonic Adventure, which was the first 3D Sonic
Tamagotchi. I know the Tamagotchi. That was a good one. Tamagotchi.
game, it actually had a virtual pet growing on it, and if you did things with it, it would actually help you in the game. So yeah, it really was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its
it's
time.
a shame
Never.
that unfortunately what ended up happening was after only a couple of years of really being supported, that Sega pretty much went defunct in the console market and never really followed up on it. Because honestly, the Dreamcast at that time was the absolute best system for fighting games. It had the best ports of your favorite fighting games, like, excuse me.
Remember, this question was, what's your favorite console? Just remember the question.
Capcom vs. SNK 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. In fact, the Dreamcast version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is still today, a decade later, accepted as the definitive console port, and everyone feels that everything else is far inferior to it.
Everyone feels that. Yep.
Just saying that you could make fighting games that were arcade perfect or near arcade perfect for it for the first time was enough to sell that system. And that's really my major experience with the system, was that everyone had it for fighting games, and it was a shame because about the mid to late 2000s, all of them started finally frying out, which happens, unfortunately, with custom joysticks. A lot of the time what would happen is there would be some problem.
God, this person is banging their head on the table asking, what was your favorite console? Now we're talking about custom what? Controllers?
The wattage of the electricity, and it would zap your console ports, and all of a sudden no controllers would work for your system. And that started happening. And since then, there's very few Dreamcasts left. A lot of people are like hoarding them. A lot of people are saving them. But you'll find, try to look for one on like eBay, they're expensive as shit. So, yeah.
Are they? I don't think that's true anymore, is it? Is it? I thought Dreamcasts were like fucking everywhere. Oh, I guess it's not. I know when I was in Japan, like you go to the used like secondhand stores, they would have walls of them, just walls. But the thing is, they would not have the hookups. They would just be walls of Super Nintendos, walls of Dreamcast. Like if I was like new, obviously if I would like could see the future, like you could buy fucking Dreamcast, like buy 100 of them and save them till now. I bet you make a fuck ton. Like you could just make millions. I bet, because people didn't give. There was like that time when no one gave a shit about retro like they do now, and then it came back fast. You know, it came back hard now, but. Shit, man, there's so much supply.
The system really was
at one point
ahead of its time, probably the best hardware-wise and technology-wise, the best console ever for its time. Now, if you want me to talk about what my least favorite console was,
yes.
Don't get me wrong, this is not because of the games. I thought the game lineup for this system was outstanding, but the hardware was absolute shit. I'm talking about the PlayStation 1.
No, Bugs Mechanics, hindsight is 50-50. Get it right.
Model 1. The PlayStation 1 Model 1 was a sack of fucking dicks, alright?
A sack of dicks. Yes, thank you, AVGN.
Didn't work. After playing it for like 3 hours, the system would begin to overheat, in which case it wouldn't even load the games. So think about this. You're into Resident Evil 1, you're really getting into it, and the fucking game starts skipping, locking up, and it won't load. And it's really fucking frustrating. And people tried all kinds of solutions. They tried taking the system and putting it, how can I say, you know, this is supposed to be your PlayStation 1. They tried standing it up on...
Oh my god, is this good, guys? I don't know Hitchhiker's Guide. But could anyone tell me, is this Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because that would explain a lot. Is it? Look at the back there. Can anyone tell what that is? Because if that's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, we're on to something. Because he just spent a fucking hour explaining the fucking the plot of that. What is it? We gotta find it. All right, I'm screenshotting it. We'll find it. Oh, it's dark blue. Okay, Red Keld is telling us this is not actually you know what I'm talking about. It's not Hitchhiker's Guide, but I gotta find out what it is. Oaktails, tell us what it is. Please.
One, they tried standing it up on its side. They tried
Lord of the Rings?
They tried removing the CD.
Oh, now we're getting better shot here.
Taping shit to it and tricking it. And
they were tricking their consoles.
And nothing really worked. And it was really frustrating for everyone. Just because it was a system everyone wanted to play. The best graphics were on that system for the time. All the new 3D games were coming out for it. And just to have games that were overheating, frying, you know, not being able to be played for extended amounts of time, people really got frustrated with that system. Now, over time, they fixed the problem. In fact, there were very few PlayStation 2s that ever had that problem. And now, as you know, with the PlayStation 3, that's a thing of the past. It's not a problem at all anymore. But being that
This is Phil's like cute piece.
now, as you know, with the PlayStation, people really got frustrated with that system. Now, over time, they fixed the problem. In fact, there were very few.
Oh wait, where's the PlayStation?
Just because it was
Here,
again,
PlayStation
it was
2.
a system everyone wanted for everyone. Just because
Say
it was
it.
again really slapping it,
Slapping the
tricking
book.
it, and nothing really worked, and it was really frustrating for everyone.
That's what I'm trying to get the 2 again.
Just because it was again, it was a system everyone wanted
What was
to
he
play.
spatting away there?
The best graphics were on that system for the time. All the new 3D games were coming out for it. And just to have games that were overheating, frying, you know, not being able to be played for extended amounts of time, people really got frustrated with that system. Now, over time, they fixed the problem. In fact, there were very few PlayStation 2s that...
Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Like, you know how Cat, when someone like, if you haven't chat yet in chat, say something, because I want to see Cat's piece too next to this, if you don't mind. If you have not, I'm not trying to bait like chats for engagement, but I kind of am. Because I want to see in the top left how that rates with Cat's piece. If you could, someone out there say something. Because I want to get the side by side. There we go. Foofy did it. There we go. The side by side pieces. Yeah. Not exactly the same, but we got it. Foof did it. You're a legend. Foofy, you came through. There we go. Red eye. Nice.
Who's that ever had that problem. And now, as you know, with the PlayStation 3,
there we go,
that's
not gaps.
It's not a problem at all anymore. But being that was
DSP's Farrier.
the next generation of
Hey,
consoles,
that's degrading. DSP's Farrier. You're on thin ice. Let me tell you that right now. Steve Beeve in the house. You're on very thin ice. I know what that term means. And your picture, your avatar spoils your story, sir. Big ups Riley as well. Riley AJ as well.
it had that kind of hardware problems. It was really frustrating for everyone. And the other thing that really pissed everyone off about the PS1 were the loading times. I mean, this was supposed to be the next generation.
Check.
We were convinced that we were getting better games because they were on CD.
We are still
Yet
on
these
this
games
question.
were taking up to 10 times longer to load than a cartridge, and we were like, sorry, we don't see the benefit at that time. Now today, that's a totally different, but back then, it was a concern. Okay, a couple more questions left here. The next one is, have you ever been recognized in the street by a fan? And that's from Sammy
good
Atkins.
question.
In the street, per se, absolutely not. No, I've never been walking around, you know, where I live here and been, hey, are you DSP or Dark Side Phil? No, that's not happened. But I've gone to some events where I've been recognized. Anytime I go to a video game tournament, yes, people recognize me immediately.
Okay, yeah, so at the place where you're expected to be.
When
Yeah.
I went to the New York Comic Convention, a bunch of people caught me, and I said, "What's up?" to them. You know, I'm not a dick, or I'm going to ignore people or walk by or anything.
Oh, what an angel! I said, "What's up to them?"
So yeah, people do recognize me when I'm at events that are catered towards video games, because obviously that's where there would be people who would.
I
be the
said,
kind of
"What's
people
up
who
to
follow
them?"
Me on YouTube. So,
What an angel!
the only other people who really have ever recognized me is obviously people who I used to work with at my old job. A lot of them knew that I did this stuff on YouTube, and that was pretty much the extent of it. So no, there's no giant name recognition right now or anything like that. I don't walk down the street and everyone's like, hey, you're DSP. But at the same time, I really doubt that people would say, hey, aren't you Ray William Johnson or Nigga Higo or, you know.
Holy shit! He's trying to cope here, where no one's recognized me, but don't think I'm not cool though. They wouldn't do that for those people as well. What the fuck? That's what we're doing here. Hey, listen. No one recognized me, but they also wouldn't recognize bigger people either, okay? So it's no big deal. I don't know why you even care about it, all right?
Time I really doubt that people would say, hey, aren't you Ray William Johnson or Nigga Higo or, you know, whoever the hell they are. I'm sure they don't get that either.
Okay.
2 more questions, and then we're all set for this edition of Ask the King. The next one is Phil. This is funny. Phil,
It's funny.
you realize there's a decoy in Black Ops, right? You got pwned by it a lot and said it was a bug. Lol. And that's from Disaster 096. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the series of videos that I just put up now, I don't know when you're watching this video, but I just put up a series of videos. It was my first online experience with Call of Duty Black Ops. I was getting frustrated like crazy because
I'm scared to say it his way too. Like, I know for comedy I probably should say it the way Phil does, but I don't, because like I can't. It's just not good.
The mini-map kept showing me gunfire, and I would go to that area and there's no one fucking there. And I'm like, what is wrong with this game? It's bugged out. Well, after I played yesterday, I actually did do a little bit of research, and I found out, if you can believe it,
Found the
I kind
answer.
of disagree with this because this is really stupid.
Okay.
There is a decoy, which basically is some kind of an attachment or something that you can use, a perk, that simulates virtual gunfire and tricks people into going to that area of the map. When in any freaking war ever did someone have an object that they would throw that would simulate gunfire? I mean, sure, you
crazy
throw a
video
rock.
game shit.
Oh no, I heard something moving, and you go over there. You wouldn't hear someone going, you're like, oh shit, I hear it, and you head over there, and then there's nothing there. That's bullshit. So I kind of think that's really stupid, and that is a dumb thing to have in the game. But now that I know it's there, at least I won't get as frustrated as I did yesterday. Yesterday, again, it was my first time playing the game. I'm just learning. I didn't know about any of the unlocks
That's why I sucked, motherfuckers. Okay, my first time playing.
or anything like that. I'm sure there's going to be even zanier stuff that I don't know about. So yeah, I kind of have egg on my face. I'm a little bit embarrassed about that, but there's really nothing I can do.
I really have egg on my face. And also oil.
I got fooled. I'm stupid. All right, the final question.
Finally.
This is an extremely common question, so I wanted to answer it.
Yep.
This will finish us off for this week.
Am I
This
gay?
is from Yakuza
Hell
98,
yeah.
and he says, Phil, will you be able to upload the rest of the videos from the DLC of Red Dead Redemption? Because many viewers want to see the end of the Undead Nightmare, and it seems like it just abruptly ended. I want to hang my head in shame on this one, because I incorrectly assumed once again that people would read.
Aha!
Because if you look at the last video
That
I
counts.
have on
That
Red
counts.
Dead DSP from the Undead Nightmare DLC, you'll see that in the video description, it actually fully explains why the series ends there, but I guess no one reads.
Yep, that's a
bottom line
berate. That's and we got a bottom line too. Let me hear that again.
explains why the series ends there, but I guess no one reads. The bottom line is this: the game ends. It's not like regular Red Dead Redemption where there's a secret mission and the story continues. The game actually ends right there once you. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but basically that last video.
Well, you spoiled so much today, so just go ahead. We already know what the fucking Hitchhiker's Guide
is the end of Red Dead Redemption. Now you can go on and do
Just
other
say it,
stuff.
man.
You can do the optional missions and things like that, but for the most part, the
missions.
campaign is over once you get to that part. So it is over. The story's over. It ends there.
It's
There's no more
over,
story
Johnny.
missions. And I
It's
apologize
over.
to anyone who was confused about that, but I only knew it because John and I immediately looked it up on the internet and found out, nope, that's the end.
It's over. Oh, speaking of Rambo.
I only knew it because John and I immediately looked it up on the internet and found out, nope, that's the end. And so
It's over, Howard. It's over.
So it is a little annoying, though, that, I did
Yes, I do.
put up a description fully
have those,
explaining
you
that so everyone would know, and no one reads. So I think the moral of the story this week is do some research before you ask questions, because
Thank you, teacher. Thanks.
do
Stop being dumb.
some research before you ask questions, because
Ooh.
usually the answers are out there, whether you watch a previous
Imagine
video,
this.
you inbox
Imagine
it, whether you
this.
read the description of the video you have a question on, whether you go to the forums and you check it out. Chances are, if you have a question, it's probably been answered already, or if
Already been
it's a
answered,
common
dude.
question, something that seems like common sense, like
Let me hear it.
Phil,
Let's hear a common sense style question. Here we go.
something that seems like common sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Common sense, please.
Phil, why don't you trade in your game, or why don't you sell games on eBay, which I've talked about before.
Oh, yeah, that's a common sense
There's
question.
a reason for it. And one
That's
other
a
thing
common
that I do
sense
want
style question. Okay. I understand that clearly. That was definitely a common sense style question, dude.
to say is I am a little disappointed because I did kind of listen to fan feedback. I did put up 2 games for auction this
I am a little disappointed. Uh-oh. What did we do wrong?
past week, which if you've been following along were the Alan Wake
Come on, Daddy. What did we do
Collector's
wrong?
Edition and Star Wars The Force Unleashed Collector's Edition. Well, it's now official. The person who won both of those auctions at the very last minute, first of all, he did have positive feedback. He did have history of voting and paying for things he bid on eBay. So there was really nothing that John and I could do to identify that he was going to be an asshole.
Get
But
ready.
he basically sent John a message, oh, he's a piece of scrub, fuck you, I'm not paying.
Get fucked. Get fucked, piggy.
He's a troll, and it's really disappointing that
He's a legend.
now.
He should be remembered forever in the Hall of Legends.
So
One of the first trolls. That's 2010. Now that's an early op there. That's one of the earliest ops possible.
he's a troll, and it's really disappointing that we spent a week now, pushing this, trying to get people to bid on it, and then last thing you know,
Now he owns Google, by the way, that person. He went on to much greater things.
a troll comes at the last minute and fucks everything up for everyone. The good news is we did send messages to the second place winners, so hopefully they'll be taking advantage of that, and they'll be able to get those games. If not, we're probably going to have to put them back up for auction and see what happens, but it is a little disappointing that you have people like that, and that's why we kind of held off from doing stuff on eBay, and that's why I have been trading stuff into GameStop previously up to now. But what can you do? We're basically going to get that guy banned from eBay. We already have all the information we need. We have the proof. He's pretty screwed. In fact,
Oh no, you're banned from a website. Something that you've been banned from your favorite website 6 times. But that ought to show him. You're going to get banned from eBay, sir.
from eBay. We already
Oh no.
have all the information we need. We have the proof. He's pretty screwed.
Oh,
In fact, it's
no.
already on his account that he already didn't pay for 2 other items outside of the ones that he bid on for me. So he's done this to other people before.
So then you should have canceled his bid already then if you knew with his back history of him being a douchebag, right?
Or 2, we're going to get him banned from eBay. So fuck that guy. Pizza Power Jack, you're a cocksucker.
Pizza Power Jack. Shoutouts. Pizza Power Jack. Wherever you are, Pizza Power, you are a legend. You also like pizza, so what's wrong? Nothing wrong with that. It can't be that bad. Pizza Power Jack shall live forever.
But besides that, there are 2 other auctions up there. One for Fable 3 Collector's Edition, and also one
Pizza
for
Power
GoldenEye
Jack.
Collector's Edition. The links can be found in the previous video that I made about that on the King of Hate HD. So look for it. It's about auctions, and we'll go from there. So anyway, that's it for this episode of Ask the King.
Hey, we got through
Remember,
one. One more
If
left.
you have a question, go to thekingofhate.com, register on the forums. I'm going to go make a new thread right now for the next episode. Please respond to that thread and push your question there. If you put up a new thread, it's going to get deleted. I'm not going to read it. So, and
Okay.
then remember, at the last minute, just like I did today, there will be Twitter questions that I'll answer at the
All
last
right,
minute
we got
too.
it.
So that's it for this episode of Ask the King. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.
Yes. All right. One more. All right. So we got to go to the next one in time order here. But I got some bad news for you guys. The next one the next one online is Ask the King number 6. So unfortunately, episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5 seem to be lost media. And I have asked all the common legends that I go to, the legendary people that help me find this shit. They don't seem to exist. So unfortunately, we'll have to go here a jump of 2 months to December early 2011. But if anyone has any information of episode 2, 3, 4, or 5, please let me know. The world needs this. Okay? The world needs it. But here we go. We're only 2 months fucking later, so we didn't miss that much. But here we go. Ask the King, episode 6. Let's go.
Later, motherfucker.
And that lovely thing is from the movie Euro Trip.
Oh, I almost didn't make it. The 10-second countdown for the camera. What's up, everyone, and welcome to...
Hear that? He almost didn't make the 10-second countdown. Dude had to walk from the camera to the chair. And he almost didn't make a 10-second countdown. All right. This is first frame. There we go. Barely made it. Had to walk 2 steps. They're getting farther.
Oh, I almost didn't make it. The 10-second countdown for the camera.
Uh-huh.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask the King. And I have to
Paper
personally
Flash?
apologize. It took me so long to getting around to doing another episode. Originally, this was scheduled for January 6th, but due to extenuating
gassed.
circumstances such as the Game
3
of the Year
steps.
Awards,
He's gassed.
I'm
I'm
sorry
out of gas,
for the
guys.
clock so that I know that
Where's
I
that
can
fucking
do
Stein?
at least like 25 minutes. The Game of the Year Awards, and also the stuff last week that unfortunately was going on with Blip. I had to basically
Ooh, Blip. Blip Lord?
postpone.
Any Blip
And,
Lord coming
so
in
now,
today?
Actually, I think this was maybe a good thing because I have a significant number of really, really good questions.
Oh, that's
this
Paper
week that
Flash.
I think people would be interested interested
It's like origami.
in the answers. So let's get started. First question here is from Red for Dead 3KB, and he asks, what is your most anticipated game of 2011? And that's really hard for me to answer because to me, when I think games, I don't really categorize them as just video games generically because there's
What the fuck are you talking about? When I talk about games, I don't categorize them as games.
so much variety these days. I would probably say, like, for example, my most anticipated fighting game of this year is probably Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I played a beta edition.
Just say what game you want to play.
Okay. At New York Comic Con earlier this well, not earlier this year. It was last year in October. Was really like kind of taken aback because it is definitely a far cry from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Shout out to Far Cry.
It still seems to retain a lot of that kind of gameplay style, and I'm dying to play it.
I'm dying.
If we're talking like role-playing games,
I don't think I did the
say
question
maybe
about it.
either Mass Effect 3, which is more action-oriented, or maybe
I probably missed one too, but
Elder Scrolls 5. I'm not sure. If you're talking like action-adventure, probably Uncharted 3. So really, there's just a lot of good games coming out this year, and I'm really
so you named
anticipating
3
a lot of them.
games.
It's really
You
hard
could have
for me
just
to
started
narrow
with
it down
that,
to
sir.
one. But I am pleased because I think
we're pleased.
last year, until like the fourth quarter, besides maybe like Mass Effect 2 and Heavy Rain, there really weren't a lot of like blockbuster games people were anticipating. This year, it seems like there's a lot of games already on the table coming up that look like they're going to be really good and make this a really good year. So I am pleased, and I can't wait to get my hands on some of these games. The next question is from Angel Demon Fusion. And he says, what is the major difference between Japanese and American games? Question.
There we go. Japanese and American games. All right, where is he going to go here? Where is he going to go? I think he's going to say Japanese games are more difficult. And he's going to mention Super Mario Brothers 2. I think that's definitely coming. He's going to say Japanese games are more hard and they're more serious, all right? So this is my guess. It's going to be all positive. I'm going to think this. This is my official guess. He's going to say they're more difficult, and he's going to bring up Super Mario Brothers 2. He's also going to say they're more not just kid-oriented. They're more towards all ages. That's my guess, and I have not seen this one.
Well, Angel Demon Fusion, Japanese games are usually in Japanese, and...
Oh, God. Man, I think I hear the worst jokes of all time, and then it goes lower. This is... It's offensive. It's offensive for someone that wants to say it's offensive for people that want to tell normal jokes, you know? Like it offends me. As someone trying to say jokes. It's really bad. I don't know why. That gets me so heated.
Demon Fusion, Japanese games are usually in Japanese, and American games are traditionally in the English language. All right, the next question is from MetaDragon45.
That's it, too. Oh, my God. People need help, man. People need help.
And the question is, what is one of the most anticipated games that you ever wanted? So he's not saying for 2011, he's saying of all time. Or what are some of the most anticipated games?
Where can we go here? Well, it's tough. I don't categorize games as games. Are we going to get that again?
2 in particular come to mind from my youth, and one was obviously one that a lot of people were dying for on home consoles, and that was Street Fighter 2. We were all playing the game to death in the early 90s in arcades, and we were like, when the hell can we play this at home? And then when it finally came out for the SNES, oh my God, it was like, we finally have the arcade at home. And really, Street Fighter 2 was one of the earliest games that the home console version was very, at least, I don't want to say it was arcade perfect, absolutely not, but it was close, at least significantly close to what the arcade edition was like. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously the sound was way less, I don't know how to say, robust maybe. It wasn't
yeah, we got it! He said it! He said the word! The sound wasn't as robust. The sound wasn't as robust. It's not even a food reference. It's a sound. Dude, that's a rare pull. That's a rare robust. That is a rare robust. Rarely is it associated with audio, but it can be apparently. So robust. I am robusting.
Arcade edition was like. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously,
Here we go.
the sound was way less. I don't know how to say robust. Maybe it definitely wasn't as good as the arcade. The graphics were definitely a downgrade,
Yeah.
but the core gameplay
Oh, Howard, right on time. Yeah, Howard wanted to hear that for himself.
was there, and I think that's really what this was the beginning of the time when home ports of games started to become much more accurate to the arcade versions.
Okay. Are we done?
Delicious. On the flip side of that, there's
Cool.
another game that I really remember anticipating heavily, and it's Final Fantasy III. Now, for those of you that weren't around back in the day, like I was,
Already knew his fans was much younger than him.
Final Fantasy III is actually the American name for Final Fantasy VI in the United States. And back then, I remember playing Final Fantasy II. I was introduced to it by one of my cousins, and I was like, wow, this game's amazing. It was actually the first role-playing game I'd ever played, besides Dragon Warrior. I did play Dragon Warrior on the NES.
Oh, shout out to
And,
Dragon Warrior.
I said, wow,
I bet
this
he
is
got
crazy.
like
It's
5
set up
steps
for
and said, fuck this.
Dragon Warrior, and I really like this concept. The story's great, the characters are great. And I remember just heavily anticipating the next one to come out, and being that, if you don't know this, Final Fantasy II is actually Final Fantasy IV in Japan.
Oh,
So really, when
God.
Final Fantasy III came out, it was 2 games later. So imagine, God of War 1 and God of War 3, what leaps and bounds between those games graphic-wise and everything like that. Imagine that being the next iteration. Imagine you never played God of War 2. You'd be like, holy shit, what a jump here, from the last one. That's really how I felt, and I really anticipated. I loved Final Fantasy III. So yeah, I'd probably say Street Fighter II, Final Fantasy III, are the most anticipated home console games of my youth.
No, she wanted your most anticipated arcade game
Next
in the
question
arcade.
is from Remix, and this question is, who's your favorite character, Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse? And this is a no-brainer.
No brainer for him is gonna be Bugs Bunny. Don't even. I would bet my house on that. He's gonna say, "Fuck Mickey Mouse. That's for kids. I'm Bugs Bunny, motherfuckers."
It's got to be Bugs Bunny.
Told ya.
Mickey Mouse and the Disney characters, to me, they always seemed like they were more geared towards young kids.
Bugs Bunny is always for the more sophisticated watcher.
And I myself always saw myself as like a more mature person. Even when I was a kid, I liked more adult humor.
Oh yeah, Bugs Bunny.
And Bugs Bunny has that. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck.
Yeah, that was very sophisticated.
They can have those more adult tones to them. Even watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon, I feel like an adult and a kid could sit there and watch the cartoon and laugh for completely different reasons. As opposed to Mickey Mouse, it's like the kids love it, and the parents are like, all right, when the hell does this end? So definitely for me, Bugs Bunny. And then as time went on, and they had things like Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs. Those were the cartoons I grew up with, and I loved those.
Okay, so those were absolutely for kids. Animaniacs and stuff like that. What?
That's the kind of humor that I like, the more adult themed.
Animaniacs is adult themed? I don't remember Animaniacs. I know it was hype though back in the day, but I can't say I've seen an episode in many years.
Next question is from Vector Prime.
Here we go.
He says, if you were a porn star, what would your name be? Well,
Okay, he's not going to answer this, I don't think.
a lot of people don't know this about my past, but I actually was a porn star for a very short time.
Oh man, this is the worst jokes of this series. I'll tell you that right the fuck now.
And the rectal rooter made his name and his.
The rectal rooter is what he came up with. This is definitely a pre-made joke here. The rectal rooter is what we came up with.
Mark on the porn industry, and there's a reason why I can't go back. All right, so the next question. This one was asked by many people, so it's a common question, which is why I'm not going to name a particular name. But the question is, have you seen the announcement about Mortal Kombat, the special editions, and notably the Mortal Kombat joystick? What do you think? Yes, I saw the announcement about Mortal Kombat. Yes, I'm going to play it. I've said that numerous times. I don't know why people don't know that yet. But yeah, I am interested in the new Mortal Kombat, which is a return to the classic of 2D style gameplay. But the joystick, I've got.
Looks like you guys broke Gamble. I don't know why, but Gamble and slots are not working. I didn't push anything. Maybe we capped out. we capped out at the fucking. Oh, you know what? Maybe I lost connection too. If you're getting that, Animu, but we'll see.
pretty much just negative things to say about it. First of
Catbot said, "Fuck this shit, man." Sometimes she gets a little. Sometimes she gets a little. Let's say moody.
all, for quite a while now, America, at least I'd say for the past 4 to 5 years, has pretty much adopted a Japanese arcade control standard.
Oh, okay.
If you look at any of the joysticks that have been released, Mad Catz, hell, even the one Hori, they're all Japanese style. And so, yes, I understand that Mortal Kombat is an American fighting game, but people are now, who have been playing fighting games, are used to this Japanese style of control. And if you saw the Mortal Kombat stick, it's the traditional old school style, American style joystick, which has the back top.
Oh, we're getting rapid fire styles. Hold on. Old school style, American style, I believe.
Japanese style of control. People are now, who have been playing fighting games, are used to this Japanese style of control. And if you saw the Mortal Kombat stick, it's the traditional old school style, American style joystick, which has the back top. It's got the really crappy, I think they're called concave. I get concave and convex confused all the time.
Thanks, valedictorian. They're concave, convex.
But the old style American buttons, which aren't as responsive as Japanese buttons, and it is the classic Mortal Kombat layout, which is basically, you know, high punch, high kick, low punch, low kick, and block and a run button. And I'm like, okay, that's great, and that was great back in the day, but do I really want to buy a joystick that's only going to be for Mortal Kombat? Because let's face it, you can't play Street Fighter with that stick. You can't play other games with that stick. At least with other fighting games, the 6-button classic layout works for most other fighting games. And to be completely honest, anyone who's been playing Mortal Kombat on a joystick for the past 5 to 10 years has been playing it on a 6-button style stick, and we've all adjusted.
This is the most boring question
this button's block instead of the button in the center of all the other ones, and this button's run instead of the other one. You know, you get used to that layout. So I honestly don't know that many people who are going to be interested in this stick. I think it was a good idea, but I think what they should have done is pulled the fans and the players and said, if you were to get a Mortal Kombat stick, what would the button layout be like? And I don't think anyone would have said, yeah, give me that traditional arcade layout that I can't use on any other game ever because it doesn't work. I mean, I think it was a really poor choice. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Fuck for done this one.
What the game's going to be like to begin with, but I can tell you this, I'm probably not buying that stick. I don't want a stick that I can only play for one game, especially if the game ends up sucking. Now I have a joystick sitting around that I'm never going to use again, so that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, you already got ugh of those, right? ECC stick still there?
Okay.
Okay.
The next question is from Kirby Barbecue.
There we go.
Or Kirby BBQ. And the question is, what is your
Kirby
opinion
BBQ
on new players
Kirby BBC
in the Street Fighter community? Do you think that the amount of people trying to get into the series is a good or bad thing? And this is a loaded question.
Loaded, dude.
Put it that way. Let me get a sip of water before I start with this one.
Kirby. What's up, Kirby?
Because my answer, it's going to be a mixed bag. And
oh, God. 7 out of 10?
People take this into consideration that, you know, I was a tournament player, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. Really didn't come into my... I mean, for Marvel versus Capcom 1 and 2, sure, back then I was, you know, constantly playing it and traveling to play it, but really didn't come into my prime until the mid-2000s with Super Turbo, where I really started winning consistently tournaments. And
winning consistently tournaments.
Placing high. And...
yeah,
so
thanks for that clarification, because...
You know, I come from a school of, listen...
What school do you come from?
Are not easy games to jump into, by any means. It takes time and dedication to master the control scheme, to master everything that's going on with the game. And by far, if you started playing these games in the 90s and are still playing them today, it's definitely easier to jump into them because you've got the basics down. You know how to throw a Hadouken. You know how to do a Shoryuken. You understand charge moves and their properties. And those things have carried through traditionally from the earliest fighting games like Street Fighter 2 all the way up until, you know, Street Fighter 4 and Capcom 3. They still stand true.
Dying.
So, for me, I'm more of a fan of, you know what, make the control scheme difficult. Because that way there's a learning curve and only the best of the best will compete.
Game designer Phil, make your control scheme suck. Because that will make it you have to get only the hardcore players will get over that sucking control scheme. This is a brilliant idea. I don't know why anyone hasn't picked up on this. We got to get Cannon Brothers on the phone now, okay? Get them on the phone. Have they thought about this? I know they're making that new game. This could be huge for them. You know, they've had some failures before. Everyone in the fighting game community hates rollback netcode, right? I mean, that's what I've learned from this gentleman. So let's get them on the horn here and tell them they need to make the controls shitty, because that will help. You don't want a lot of people playing your game. That's a true fact. You don't want too many people to buy your game, right? You don't want too much money. I mean, let's simplify it, right?
Unfortunately, that's not really where games have gone in the past couple of years. Now, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, when Street Fighter 4 was released 2 years ago, basically the game was
so guys,
with a complete...
hold on a second. Apparently, Catbot's disconnected, but your slots are still going through. Take a break on it, because if you could win or lose, you don't know what's going on, because Catbot can't tell you. Hold on, let me close StreamerBot real quick and open it back up and see if that fixes it. Because everything that doesn't involve Catbot you can do. As I see, pulls are still going through. But they were still happening. Just Catbot can't tell you what happened. And I also can't even know what happened. So hang on to your butts here. Hang on to your butts here. It's going to be back. I'll tell you when it's back.
Control scheme from the previous Street Fighter games. It's much more control friendly to the casual gamer. And I think the reason they did this was because they understood that not everyone was going to have a competition joystick to play on. And they really wanted to widen and broaden their audience for Street Fighter. So
damn, widen and broaden.
They actually made the inputs for special moves extremely lenient, okay? And I've talked
made it more for the common person. How dare they?
about this before, but just as a recap, basically in Street Fighter 4, let's say, for example, you want to do a Shoryuken, which is a dragon punch, whatever you want to call it. In traditional Street Fighter, you have to do the real motion, which is towards your opponent on the joystick.
Did you forget? It sounded like his brain got a fog for a second here.
Which is towards your opponent on the joystick.
That took longer than it should have, right? For a fighting game player, he goes, "You need to do it towards your opponent."
You have to do the real motion, which is towards your opponent on the joystick, down on the joystick, and then down towards, plus a punch button, all right? So you have to do this on the joystick to get it to work. In Street Fighter 4, there are shortcuts to do every single move in the game. So if you want to do Shoryuken, you want to know what you have to do?
What do you have to do?
You can double tap. I'm not even kidding. You
double tap.
You can double tap a particular angle and press punch, and a Shoryuken will come out.
Holy shit.
And for some people, this is great. For people who can't afford a joystick, for people who don't like joysticks, who've played on pads their whole life. I mean, there's a whole generation of gamers who weren't arcade competitors, who didn't have a joystick and buttons and weren't able to play, or just didn't play in that style. I said earlier that Street Fighter 2 was one of my favorite games, most anticipated games as a child. Well, there were people who only owned the home versions of these games, so all they ever had was an SNES pad.
Holy shit.
And I've spoken about this earlier, and, I took some flack for it for the way that I said it, because I think that I said it the wrong way. I talk about players like Zangief, who plays on a pad. A Zangief player who did extremely well at Evolution 2010.
And you probably talk shit about him, because you talk shit about everybody?
And there was also a lot of controversy with another player, and I forgive me because I completely forgot his name, who won HD Remix, Super Turbo HD Remix at Evolution on a gamepad. He was a Zangief player as well. And the thing is, back in the day, good luck playing with these characters on a D-pad. I mean, it was just impossible. You couldn't pull off the complex motions, the timing, the reversals, the combos. It just wasn't possible on a D-pad. You needed a competition joystick to do it.
It was impossible, dude.
These days, because of these more relaxed inputs, it's extremely easy to do these things on D-pad. It's very viable to become a tournament competitor playing on a pad. Now, some people would argue.
Was he talking about Snake Eyes?
The audience for Street Fighter.
Was Snake Eyes playing it this time? Like, Snake Eyes has not shown up on any SRK thing, but I would believe it.
It's bringing in a whole new generation.
Oh shit, Lars, he's talking about Snake Eyes legitimately? Holy shit.
A tournament competitor. Extremely easy to do these things on D-pad. It's very
That's
viable
crazy.
to become a tournament
Snake Eye's first appearance was on 2011.
competitor playing on a pad. Now, some people would argue this is good because it's broadened the audience for Street Fighter. It's bringing in a whole new
Yeah, sounds
generation
good to
of
me, dude.
gamers, and it's basically bringing Street Fighter more into the mainstream.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, there's a whole other group
Uh-oh.
of people like myself who've been around for quite a long time, who understand what it is to be a tournament competitor and how difficult it is. And some people don't agree. They on the flip side, they're like, listen, you're dumbing down the game. You're making it so
You're
that
dumbing
any
down.
Joe Schmo can learn these abusable tactics because it's so easy to do it now. Before you had to actually learn the
pad
timing,
people,
the
how
motion.
dare they?
Now it's just like,
How
oh,
dare
that?
they?
Oh, it's so freaking easy to do, and you're dumbing down the game, and it's making the game more diluted and not as skillful on a tournament level. And I guess my best argument.
How dare you dilute my beautiful game of Street Fighter? How dare you, Capcom? Please, I will not stand for this. Make your controls more confusing post haste.
For this would be the original Street Fighter 4 that came out had Sagat as the most overpowered character, and the reason was
What is
number
it?
one, he had the best focus attack dash cancel in the game.
Holy
it was
shit.
low risk, extremely high reward, and extremely high damage. And number two, because he
The
had
cuffs,
that, and because the inputs were so easy to do, almost anyone could do it. You didn't have to do a Dragon Punch motion.
Oh,
to do
how
it. You
dare
could just
they.
keep tapping. Like, people would be attacking you with like jab, 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 doing their combo string, and you could just mash diagonal on your joystick and punch. And if they fucked up, that was it. It would come out, and that's it. You could win the round just by mashing like this on a joystick.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
great.
but in a tournament atmosphere, you shouldn't be mash, mash, mash. And just because I picked this certain character, and because they dumbed down the controls, you can completely reverse the entire round if I make a slight miscalculation in the timing of my hit string, and you win because of it. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
And it really did dumb down the competition of Street Fighter 4.
Ah.
Now this was fixed, obviously, in Super Street Fighter 4. Yes, that you can still do that, but Sagat was significantly toned down. That FADC is nowhere near as powerful now, and people have found other things to do to replace that. But in my opinion, I come from the hardcore. I come from a school where,
Oh, God, what do you come from?
I took my decade of getting my ass handed to me in arcades before I finally started, becoming the level of competitor that I am today.
Does anyone remember the question? Because I don't. I really don't.
And for me, it's frustrating to see these people, and I call them kids even though they're not necessarily kids. Don't take it as disrespect. And Vangeef, don't take it as any disrespect when I said, oh, Vangeef,
What's Vangeef doing now?
I want to go back and kick everyone's ass. What I was basically saying was, I want to go back to a time when, it really took a competitor who was dedicated, who learned the game, who learned every aspect of the game, who learned the complex motions, controls the hardest stuff in the game, and that's why they won. Not just because you
Yeah, that's literally probably it.
Strategy, and you abused a really easy, lax control scheme.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
of a sudden
that
you're
was the
dominating
question?
everyone.
Holy fuck.
It's disappointing. And
That feels
not
like
to take
18
anything
years
away from
ago.
Players like Vangeef or the guy who won HD Remix, because obviously what they did,
Oh,
they
God.
saw what was there, they learned what was there, and they rolled with it, and they won. And all the more props to you. That's what a tournament level competitor does. They find the best stuff in a game and they use it to win. But for me, it's disappointing to see, for example, Zangief winning HD Remix. Let me tell you something. Zangief will never win a competitive Super Turbo arcade tournament unless the people just don't understand the game or there's no good players there. Zangief is one of the worst characters in Super Turbo. And it's because of his limitations. He's very difficult, or has a very difficult time against projectile characters. He's very limited in his range, and really he's slow overall. So compared to the other people in the game, yeah, it's really hard to win with Zangief. So I would, if someone's gonna win with Zangief, outplay me. Don't get fucking,
Outplay me. Beat me the way I think is legitimate.
spinning pile drivers every 2 seconds because the control scheme's so fucking retardedly easy now.
Oh.
Or because someone made a ridiculous remix version of a game that makes everything so freaking easy to do that you can just dominate everyone. I mean, it's stupid.
It is
And,
stupid. It is so stupid, dude. I
That's
agree
my
with you.
opinion. I'm sure for the majority
I don't remember what
of
your
people out
opinion's
there,
on anymore. Can we get
especially my
past
fan base
this?
who's a younger fan base, you're going to disagree, and that's perfectly fine.
That's perfectly
But,
fine, dude.
again, for me, someone who's put in the time and dedication, who grew up with these games, and that's why I am as good as I am, it's frustrating to see these
you're
people
definitely
who,
something.
you know, oh, my first fighting game was Street Fighter 4, and I went to EVO and I made top 8. What the fuck? Like, you put in a couple months of practice and all of a sudden you're dominating everyone? That's pretty crazy. And I think
Hey, you shouldn't be able to be as good as me this quickly. That shouldn't be allowed. Hey, wait a minute.
volume
You shouldn't be that good yet.
on what's going on with Street Fighter right now, and the fact that anyone can jump in, and actually if you do dedicate yourself, you can win. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, that is kind of annoying when, you know, there used to be this learning curve, there used to be this, I don't know, and I don't want to say elitist, but almost...
What? You don't want to say elitist? You're saying right now you want games to be harder to control. I mean, come on.
You know, you knew when someone put in the time and dedication to become a tournament level player. Today it's just like, what the fuck? Like, people are just coming out of nowhere and dominating. It's like, who are these people?
Yeah, you could look at it that way, or you could also look at it that you didn't evolve with the game at all, and other people did and kept improving to, you know, catch up with you that quickly. I'm not elitist, but I think controllers should be harder to use, so only the most dedicated will put up with the asshole controls. Sound good?
And that's kind of what I was saying a couple months ago when I made the comment about Zangief. It's like, wow, I respect Zangief. Here's a guy who picked, you know, a character who was toned down in Super Street Fighter 4. He's not even as good as he was in the original Street Fighter 4. And beats Justin Wong, dominates at EVO, tears through
Justin
everyone.
Wong slander again.
A character who's not supposedly as good as he was in the first game, and that's definitely respect-worthy. But at the same time, who's Zangief? You know what I mean? Who was he before Super Street Fighter 4? I don't know. I never heard of him.
Did he send? How much ring time did he get? Did he work his way through the individual companies? Come on, he didn't earn his time, dude. He didn't earn his way. That's what he's talking about.
Maybe it's because he put in the time and dedication, or maybe it's because it's a lot easier to play the competitive fighting games these days than it was back in the day. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That's just my take on it.
That's just my take.
It's
Thanks
great that there's thousands and thousands of people now who have joined the competitive fighting game scene.
It's great. You seem to love it.
But at the same time, I reminisce about the old days. You know what I mean? But for me, I don't know. Let's see what happens this year with Marvel 3 and stuff like.
There are those 2 a.m. Jin tweets coming out, Jin messages to Rambo, who probably was still answering at this point. Yeah, we're still on that question somehow. I really want to get past this part.
I'm interested to see how these games play if I dedicate myself to a game.
He's answering questions that were never asked now. He doesn't know the question anymore.
Capcom 3, if I can significantly, you know, do better than people who just find these abusable strategies and these input, you know, shortcuts, and they end up dominating because of these stupid easy mode ways to win. I don't know. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, dude.
I hope no one took that the wrong way. That's just my honest opinion. It's different from the way it was back in the day, you know.
Okay. I was asking about a controller.
You know, wait in line freaking 20 minutes to even get your hands on the controls, and when you got there, you really had to do your absolute best, because if you fucked up, you got to wait another 20 minutes to play, and going every week and hammering it out and playing the locals and becoming the best at your local arcade, and then going to a tournament and learning all this new stuff. It's not like that anymore now. You just sit at home, you go online, and you fucking, sure, it lags, but you see the best stuff, you watch videos on YouTube of how to play the games, and within, you know, a month of just studying...
He's so salty. This is just pure salt. New players have it easier than me. This is grandpa salt. You know, back in my day, we had to go to the arcade, you know? First we scope out the 14-year-olds, and then we play. And then someone would tombstone me. I earned it, okay? That's all he wants here. Give me praise, because now it's so much easier than it was for me. What the fuck? Super Scuffer, ask. Big ups, dude. So why is it sat on the left? Printer shot? Yeah, he's showcasing his nice Epson printer and his 2 lint rollers that would stay there for more than 2 years.
You can actually become a good player. It's just so different from the way it used to be that it's a totally different ball game for me. So that's my opinion on the subject. I definitely like the fact that there's so many people playing Street Fighter.
We're almost out. We were almost out. We were almost out of it.
But it's just so different than it was back in the day. It's I don't know how I feel. I would love to go to Evo this year. I would love to go go through the tournament scene leading up to
God,
Evo,
now we're talking about
the qualifier
Evo.
series, and see how stuff is. I mean, I understand there are so many freaking tournaments everywhere now.
This
that
is
it's
the
like I
worst
go to,
question in the
sh-
history of this fucking series ever.
.com, you
Maybe any Q&A ever.
go to tournaments and events. I can't even find a tournament I want. I can't even find the ones in my area. I can't find the majors. I can't find jack shit because there's hundreds of tournaments all across the country, and it's a double-edged sword. It's
Jenna watching him right now makes it much funnier. Watch, look at Jenna. She's like, what the fuck is this guy
a
saying?
great thing that there's that level of competition, but it's a bad thing when you're, looking for the best.
Oh,
so
come on.
Let's see what happens this year. It's going to be definitely a different experience.
Oh,
I'm
God.
actually coming up on about 25 minutes here. So
God
I'm
damn
gonna
it.
take
Gorski Vice President in the house says, we're going to need you to come in early Monday. Oh, absolutely. I'm down. I want to go above and beyond.
a quick break. We're going to split the video. Then we're going to go into the next section. And I don't know. This might be a long one because I got quite a bunch of questions.
Flash
I didn't get to
paper.
talk
It's
about
like
yet. So
origami.
come back for part 2, and I'll see you then.
All right, part 2. Last one of the night.
Later, motherfucker.
Part 2 gets that too? I guess it's a new video, so why not, right?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back
All right,
to
last vid of the night.
Ask the King for January 20th, 2011. We're going to jump right into it because I have quite a few questions left to answer after rambling
Okay.
on and on about that last one.
Yeah.
All
You,
right,
oh,
next.
God, you're right about that, sir. You are right about that.
From the Stoned Cinder, and he says, I saw an ad for your stuff on Cafe Press. Being that you have a good reputation there, what kind of stuff will we see next available for purchase?
Yeah. Where's the thongs?
Good question. A lot of people have actually mentioned to me that
A lot of
going around
people.
the internet, when they see ads for Cafe Press, they actually have been putting my stuff on the ads. And I think it's the ads that they're putting on gaming stuff. So, for example, people who've seen ads on ShowYouCan.com for my stuff. They've seen ads on other people's gaming videos on YouTube for my stuff.
Wow, that shows how popular it was, though, guys. Think about that. Cafe Press was, using Philip Burnell merch on different websites to, get people to their website. That's kind of crazy. Oh, shit.
Later, motherfucker.
Not that one. Part 2 of the...
Welcome back to part 2 of Ask the King.
Oh, God, wrong one. We're back. We're back.
Actually, let me reset my timer now that I'm... we've been starting We've seen ads on other people's gaming videos on YouTube for my stuff. Great question, because this is the perfect time to ask it. As you know, we've been starting a streaming series of Super Turbo, featuring some of the best players on the East Coast. We do this roughly at least once a month. We're actually starting to do it a little bit more often now that the holidays are over. We're going to try to do it every other week, and actually there's a stream coming out this Sunday, which I believe is January 23rd at 2 p.m. at don'tblowthis.com. And
that is Howard's web. Howard was the, kind of the instrumental in that website for sure.
So let me reset my timer now that I'm thinking about it. And anyway, what we decided to do, we have a gaming team. We're calling it the Revolution.
New gaming team. I never heard about this. The Revolution. That was the new gaming team. The Revolution.
Basically, the whole premise of this team is, listen, for years we've been told, there's no viable tournament-worthy edition of Super Turbo, and therefore Super Turbo can't be played at tournaments. We've tried HD Remix, we've tried multiple console versions of the game, none of them are arcade perfect, none of them, most of them have...
What's the plans for this new stable called the Revolution? So fucking WWE,
large differences from the arcade version of arguably the best fighting game ever made, and therefore we're giving up. We can't play it in tournaments anymore. And actually, it was funny because
God, it's funny.
Interview, on the West Coast, and I believe Dogface asked John Choi, "Would you consider playing the qualifier team who qualified for SBO in 2010 in like a playoff?" And he said, "Well, yeah, if Super Turbo comes back." And I'm like, "Where did Super Turbo go? It never went anywhere." Instead, no one put the effort in to try to get it back on arcade setups, which is the tournament-worthy edition. So we did it. We put our efforts, time and efforts together. We've got 2 head-to-head arcade cabinets. We stream every other weekend, and we're really excited about it. So what we're doing...
So that was Howard's back-to-back cab. He had this house.
Back to the point, is we have merchandise now that we're going to start designing
Uh-oh.
and putting up on Cafe Press for our team. It's going to have different things like... Revo is kind of like the shortcut for the Revolution. And...
Revo. It's very cool. Got the Revo. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We call it the Revo. You know, it's kind of the abbreviation, if you know what I'm saying. The Revo.
Different things like Revo is kind of like the shortcut for the revolution, and we've got some of my fans have been designing lots of interesting logos and things for us to use for this merchandise. So even if you go,
God, you need the Revo merch. Now that's a fucking pull. If you got Revo merch.
right now to cafepress.com/darksidephil, you're going to see there's just a section there.
Wait, what's the website? I'll check it right now.
/darkside things for us to use for this merchandise. So even if you go right now to cafepress.com.
Cafepress.com. I'll go to Wayback Machine, of course, but cafepress.com. Cafepress.com /darksidephil,
you're going to see
/darksidephil. All right, let's do it. Let's see what we get, everybody. Let's see what we get, everybody. We're looking for 2,000. This is January of 2011 because we want to be time, at the right timeline, right? In the right time frame. You want to see what that would look like? Oh wow, we're in for a treat. You're all in for a treat. Ready? This is the Dark Side Phil, cafepress.com site. Want to see Super Turbo Revolution? This is the Don't Blow This website. Oh, intimate apparel. I want to check out the intimate apparel. See what we got. Impress your loved ones, closest friends, and potential victims with the humor of DSP. Yeah. So let's see what we get. The only designs that are still here are... What is this? What is this design? Boxer brief. Oh, show me the logo again, please. Yeah, view larger. Shit, it's not there. I want to see that artwork again, though. That artwork was... The artwork, not R-word. Artwork. Run, swag, run, bitch. Yeah, I can't see the picture. It looks like an alien, though, doesn't it? So there's thong. There's boxer shorts. Oh, you know we're checking out the rest. Are you nuts? Come on. Let's see the hats. Now, these are fossils right here, the hats. Got to check out these hats. Oh, come on. Get the hats. Give me the hats. Here we go. Ah, shit. None of them work. Let's face it. We all hate the sun. Protect your exposed dome with these cool DSP hats. My favorite is that DSP wrote these, you know? Oh, look at these. Look at these. Oh, there's Revo. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, here. Can you see the Revo down here? The Revo. Oh, the Revo Stein. At the bottom left. That's a Revo Stein. Holy shit. I need the Revo Stein. You've seen this. You've seen the fucking King of Hate Stein. Have you seen the Revo Stein? Holy shit. Let's see the shirts talk up. The Revo Stein. Find all kinds of Dark Side Phil shirts within. Logos, graphics, slogans, and more. Our creativity is going down the drain here. Let's see the mugs, bottles, and more. Get your drink on with this selection of Dark Side Phil mugs and bottles. There's no more creativity. We just lost it all. Let's see stickers, magnets, and more. I'm having a lot of fun right now. This is way better than the questions. Ready? Here you'll find the odds and ends, all with DSP's custom designs. Here you'll find the odds and ends, all with DSP's custom design. God. All right, is there any more? Sweatshirts and hoodies. We got to check out the sweatshirts and hoodies. Brr, did you seriously just go outside with just the shirt on? It's cold out there. Check out these heavier DSP apparel selections. Yeah. Brr, did you seriously just go outside with just the shirt on? Oh, man, he was already humorous. He could be a copywriter. I'm having a lot of fun here. Let's see Super Turbo Revolution. What does that bring us? Oh, nothing. That's just like a placeholder. Oh, no, here. We just have don't blow this shit. Oh, man. They didn't learn about the, don't overwhelm people with choices because holy shit. I could buy 18 million things here. Revo. Who bought the Revo stuff, though? That's what I want to know. Revo. All right. Anyways, we've seen enough. Shopkeeper bio. Nothing. Damn. There you go. 2011. Cafe Press. There we go. Good field trip there.
There's just a section there, and it's just our preliminary designs, but we're working on designs right now that each person can have their own custom t-shirt. We have our own logos and things like that, and we're basically looking to go to tournaments and represent this movement of, Super Turbo is the best fighting game of all time in many people's opinions, and we want it to come back to the tournament scene in arcade form, so let's get our asses together to work it out and figure out how to get cabinets in and do it. Because we're not accepting these shitty console remixed versions of the crappy fucking bullshit shortcut version of the game anymore. We want to play the real game. So let's see what happens. And actually, there are some things in the works right now to possibly get Arcade Super Turbo at Evolution Nationals this year. But those are in the works, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But anyway,
you done yet?
Check that stuff out on Cafe Press. More will be going up. And
I just
we'll
checked it out. Can't
wait. The next
wait.
question, which is from 5 billion people. Are you going to play DC Universe Online? The answer is no. I've said multiple times I am never going to play an MMO simply because it never ends. There's no point in me. I could do some footage of it, but when do I stop? At 40 hours?
So that means I'm never going to do MMO except for the times I might do MMOs. Got it?
60 hours? I mean, MMOs, I could perpetually play them, and it's going to take up a ridiculous amount of my time. And, it's just not worth it. Sure, I understand DC Universe is on PS3, but I've grown out of the MMO phase of my life. I played...
This dude was playing MMOs within 12 months of this video being recorded. He said at Sikorsky... Oh, no, was that Best Buy? I think it was Sikorsky. No, I think it was Sikorsky. He said they asked him to get on Facebook, and he would play if he played a few months with them. Within 12 months of this video being recorded, within 12 months of him actually playing World of Warcraft, he's saying he grew out of World of Warcraft. Because I think it's still kind of nerdy at this time, maybe? Is that where we're going with this?
But I've grown out of the MMO phase of my life.
I've grown out of the MMO phase of my life. What phase is that?
I played World of Warcraft. I played EverQuest. I played City of Heroes. I played many MMOs. Final Fantasy 11. I played many of these MMOs, and yes, they're addictive, and yes, they're fun. And if that's all you want to do for your gaming,
yes, they're addictive. Yes, they're fun. Yes, it's probably the most positive experience I've ever had in gaming in my entire life. I literally wish I could do that 24/7. Does that mean I want to play that? No.
By all means, go play them. But if you're the kind of rounded person like me and you want to
rounded
play other
person,
stuff,
rounded. You are definitely rounded.
By all means, go play them. But if you're the kind of rounded person like me and you want to play other stuff, it's not worth the time and dedication to put into an MMO. So I'm not playing DC Universe, and I won't be playing any other MMOs unless I quit everything else, and it's all I do.
You're so rounded.
All right, next question is from Random and Hokey Gamer. At least I hope I pronounced that right. It was really hard to read. And his question is, what are your expectations on Mass Effect 3?
Counting it. Why is it back to 1?
Multiplayer being added to it. First of all, Mass Effect does not need multiplayer. It would be a complete waste of time, and no one's asking for it. Don't do it. It's horrendous. It would be horrendous if they added multiplayer.
Oh, my counts got fucked from trying to reset Catbot. The total counts will still be correct, but the up to date counts for this stream only are fucked right now.
That's not the type of game it is. So I say, don't give in, to critics or whoever is telling you that this is what you need. You don't need it. Your game series is good enough without it, so don't fucking put it in there.
Whatever.
What I would much rather you do is you focus on the main game itself and get us back to the main storyline of Mass Effect 1, which is the Reapers are coming. They're going to invade Earth and everything else and take everything over, because that's what the storyline we're really interested in Mass Effect 1. We meet this Reaper, we talk to it, we destroy it at the end of the game, and then all through Mass Effect 2, the whole storyline is dropped for this side story about collectors that no one really gives a shit about. And now here we are, we see the preview for Mass Effect 3, and it's kind of like, gee, seems like the story just continued from Mass Effect 1. You could have completely skipped Mass Effect 2 as a filler episode, and the story could have went from Part 1 to Part 3. So, focus on the story of Mass Effect 1.
Most of the story,
say,
got it.
If anything, what I would like to see is my decisions from Mass Effect 1 and 2 significantly change what happens in Mass Effect 3. So, for example, if I spared the Rachni in Mass Effect 1, I want them back in Mass Effect 3. I want them to make significant impact on my gameplay experience. Maybe an important side character or important member of my crew would have died if I didn't do this in part 1, and because I did, in part 3, the character gets rescued. Stuff like that. That's the
great.
kind of
Oh, God, what a deep example of that. Amazing.
dynamic that I would love to see in Mass Effect 3, and that's what I hope to see in it.
Okay, great point. Okay, we done yet? Take a sip. Gotta have that sip. Great question. Great answer, dude.
Okay, next question is from Hugo Churato.
Big ups, Hugo.
And he says, Phil, you have different logos for all your different shows and stuff like that, and the fans have made those for you, but what about a DSP theme song? You don't seem to have, like, a common theme.
Oh, we have one of those.
With you. And
We have that. No, you're wrong. We have that. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? We have that. We definitely have that. I'll show it. Hold on. I'll get the theme song, guys. 1 second. I got it for you. I'll find it. We got to play the theme song. Of course. Well, how can we live without this theme song? Here, I'll play it for you. We might as well, right? This is iconic. His iconic song. We can't not play it, right?
He'll bore you with his tales from the past. He's gouty and his content sucks ass. He stuffs his face and drinks his chin and pleads and begs for tips from his fans. He spends his days spending your cash. Don't call him out or your ass will be banned. He's the greasiest gamer you've ever seen. He whipped out his children, wanked it on stream. He's the king of toxicity. He's the guy they call DSP.
You gotta see this part. You came this far. Amazing. All right, here we go. This is Phil's gonna tell you about it. He doesn't have a theme song yet.
just kind of see what he's saying, because, for example, the Angry Video Game Nerd has a really...
Hey!
So why don't I?
I'm right on
See
time.
what he's saying? Because, for example, the Angry Video Game Nerd has a really catchy theme song, so why don't I?
Yeah, he does. You know what he does? That is very fucking catchy, dude. That is a catchy fucking song. I wish we could hear it right now.
And I completely agree. And here's the thing.
I am not musical or talented in any way, so I'm gonna need someone else to make it for me. Get the hint? Hint.
With some future business plans that I have, I'm looking to basically have a strategic partnership with a particular company, and there are going to be certain videos that I'm going to probably give them where I'm not going to be able to use...
That's Machinima.
I don't want to say copyrighted music, because you can use it as long as it's part of the game, but I wouldn't be able to use, for example, in my Hateful Truth. If I make a Hateful Truth, I might not be able to use my intro, which is, Rod, do you call my name? I might need to make, like, an original theme song.
What? Rod, do you call my name? Is that what he said? Sorry, we're making this take too long, but Rod, do you call my name? Is that what he said? Oh, Ra. Okay, well, this is, I'll play it. I don't care. I'll play it until I see the, this is, you want to hear the original Ask the King theme? It's right here. I believe is what he said, right? Make sure it's what he said.
For stuff like that. So do you call my name? Hateful Truth. I might not be able
A Hateful Truth. All right. Here's the Hateful Truth old theme. I'll play it until YouTube tells me I can't. Oh, yeah. WPIG 1650 will come at you hot here. New single debuted on The Hateful Truth. DSP Space Gaming in the house. You thought we were done with just DSP's inbox. You're far from it. Just warming up. Some wondered if it could go, if there was worth it for continuing this series. I promise you there is.
Oh no.
We're hearing it right now. Get the fuck up. DSP. Hateful Truth.
Are you kidding me?
Okay. Oh, is it Is it WB Music
Use
song?
my intro, which is,
If it is, that this
you know,
video is getting
Ron,
blocked.
call
It
my
always
name.
does.
I might need to make like an original theme song for stuff like that. So let
You
this
don't need to
be
make it.
kinda
Someone else
like
is gonna make it for you. Get
the
it right.
initial request. Anyone out there who is a musician, who is clever, thinks they can be a clever lyricist, I'd like to see some examples of some theme songs and ideas that you might have. Now, just for an example,
Just do it,
people have asked me
assholes.
this in the past, what kind of music do you like? Yes, I love hard rock. I love metal. I love that kind of stuff.
I love metal. What metal do you like? Nickelback? I love metal, dude. Bon Jovi rocks my socks off. You know, what is he gonna say? Metal. I love metal, you know, like the darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
It doesn't
What examples of metal has he ever said he liked? Ever. Ever, ever, ever. He always says he likes metal, but like, is there any other reason he does? Like what, Stone Cold music?
you like, yes, I love hard rock. I love metal. I love that kind of stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that I wouldn't like something like a rap or something neat, even just like a jingle, like,
A rap.
you know, the Angry Video Game Nerd has a really cool acoustic guitar theme that's really neat,
And so he is begging, please make me something as catchy as the Angry Video Game Nerd, please. Someone. ASAP, all right?
something like that I might like too. So
So could you
any
hurry it up?
ideas you
I want
have,
that.
You know, I'm more than willing to
Be honest, I'm tired of asking for it,
burp
all right?
into
Get the
camera
hint?
during this request, but besides that, I'm more than willing to consider anything. So anyone out there who's interested, you know, record what you're doing and put it up on YouTube and put it as a response to this video, or send it to me in a PM, and I'm more than willing to look at it
PM?
and see what you got. And if it's good enough, I would
personal
love,
message.
I
Okay,
would
that
love
makes
to
sense.
have like my own cool theme that I could, you know, put in my videos, put in my hateful truths and stuff like that. So let's see what you come up with. And thank you,
Yeah.
Hugo Troido, for asking me that, because that was a
Hugo
really good
Troido.
question.
Great question.
Okay, the next, let's see how I'm doing on time. I'm still all right. The next question is from David Poorheads, and it's a two-pronged question.
Two-pronged! Shout outs! Two-pronged! We got two prongs. Damn.
I apologize if it's
You
Poorheads,
chose to
not
broke the
Poorheads. I'm not
law.
sure how to pronounce your name.
Live with the
Hey, Phil, my name
consequences.
is David, and I'm from Israel, and I'm a huge fan of yours. Here are my questions.
Okay, two
Number
prongs.
one, you said a couple of times you were late to embrace the PlayStation 3. Why did you eventually embrace it, and what made you change your mind? Well, let me answer this before I get to the second question.
Oh, God.
Simply put, it's a matter of timing. The Xbox 360 came out before the PS3, so I bought that, and I had that first. And being that a lot of the best games for the systems were already cross-platform games, there was no reason for me to buy a PS3
Yeah.
necessarily.
This is
Now,
another
when I
question.
saw there were going to be some PS3 exclusive games coming out that I did want to try, for example, Uncharted and stuff like that, that's when I started getting interested in the
That's
PS3.
when I got
That's why
excited,
eventually
okay? I
bought
started
it.
chubbing up.
Plus, I knew that eventually, once Blu-ray won the HD war between HD DVD and Blu-ray, I knew that I was going to want a
Blu-ray
Blu-ray
won
player.
the HD war.
And I said, rather than buy a freaking standalone player for $200, why not buy a PS3 for $300, and I can play games and play Blu-rays? It just made sense.
I was there that day. The HD war between HD and Blu-ray.
So that's why I eventually got a PS3. Second question.
Second
What do
question.
you think about piracy in gaming? Now, I've already talked about this 1,000 times, so I won't beat a dead
Well, that's
horse.
another
but
question, by the way.
It's bullshit. People should not do it. The only time whatsoever that I would ever even support any kind of piracy is if a game just
A piracy question, of course. Don't steal my
never
money.
came
Turn off ad block.
into the States. So, for example, Mother 3, which is actually the sequel to Earthbound, which is
Earthbound hype.
actually called Mother 2 in Japan. People have been demanding this game for a decade, and
Decade, dude.
you know, it never got a U.S. release, so people finally got the ROMs, and now there is a translated version online for free. Is it considered
What's up,
piracy?
Gary?
Yes, but when you're a fan and you want
We're
something,
almost done.
and the developer isn't delivering, then what the hell? What are you going to do?
What the
you
hell,
know? What I don't support are, you know, games being pirated that are ready to, or readily purchasable. And it's frustrating, you know, when a new game comes out
You
and
okay?
it's already online and you fuck over the developers and publishers like that. That's really bullshit. But
Uh-huh.
another example of piracy that might be...
Well, you don't need that.
okay
You already
is
said your thoughts. Get another question in. We need another example of piracy? That doesn't help you answer the question.
a game that's maybe out of print. So, for example, Marvel vs.
Game's out of
Capcom
print.
2,
Yep.
after around like 2003, 2004, it became extremely difficult and almost impossible to find an actual retail copy of the game that people were selling, and so the game went online and ended up being pirated by everyone.
Oh my god.
If you have a game like that that's super popular and the developer refuses to re-release the game, what can you do? So it's like a Robin Hood question, you know? There are certain...
It's like a Robin Hood question. Okay. I've never heard a Robin Hood question. Let me hear these Robin Hood questions.
times when things are acceptable and there's certain times when they're not. There's the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. Yeah.
So that is, I guess that's how you would describe Robin Hood? Of course, Vice President saying, let's wrap this up. I didn't authorize this overtime. I agree. I agree with you, sir. Sorry about this,
Always
sir.
follow along with the spirit of the law. That's my opinion.
So Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor is following the spirit of the law? Is that what I am to understand, everybody? So Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor is, while he might not be following the letter of the law, he is in fact following the spirit of the law. Okay.
Oh, actually,
sense.
he actually
Don't think too deep about it.
did have a third question. He says, P.S. Can I send you some Israeli money and a couple of cool stuff from here? Sincerely, David the Wily Jew. He said it, not me. I don't want to hear it, okay?
The wily Jew is the bad word.
And
Okay.
he called himself the Wily Jew. I would say, sure, I'd be more than willing to accept some money as a souvenir.
I'd be more than willing to accept some money.
As for the couple of cool
You're
stuff,
damn
I
right.
talked about this before. I do have a section on my forums called DSP's P.O. Box. If you're going to send me something, run it by me there first, and I'll either approve it or turn it down, and I'll let you know.
Okay, can we get to the next
All
question,
right?
please?
Next question is from Cyber
Thank fuck.
Juanito.
God damn,
This is
dude.
actually, excuse me, the last question from the forums, then we'll hit up Twitter questions.
Oh, God, can't wait.
I'm doing good on time. Cyber Juanito says, many online gamer
1.5.
personalities, he names a couple, but I won't call them out, I've been saying that Black Ops multiplayer isn't as good as Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Your thoughts? Well, I have two thoughts on this. The first thought is, well, to be completely honest, aren't we all kind of getting tired of this at this point? I mean, Modern Warfare 1 was a revolutionary game. It really changed the way a lot of us thought about first-person shooters because it added so much new content and so many new concepts to the online multiplayer of that game.
Oh, yeah, so the Doom Messiah says the Dead Space 2. The Dead Space 2 incident happened on January 12th. So we are 8 days removed from that happening. I do not think he's banned from Blip TV yet, but there might have been whispers of that happening. I'm not sure the timeline there. We are definitely 8 days removed from Hello Chew, for sure.
And since then, we have 3 more iterations of Call of Duty, 1 a year.
Oh, excuse me. So Frog Machine's on it. He was fired from Blip 1 week before this video. So the recorded incident of Dead Space happened on let's see, 12th? There's a lot of different dates here. Fired on the 12th. Okay. Fired on the 12th, given 10 days notice. Big ups. Thanks, man.
Well, how many times can you rehash the same formula and still think that it feels fresh? Now, Modern Warfare 2, a lot of people were highly anticipating it because it was the direct sequel to Modern Warfare 1. It had high expectations. And for the most part, when the game was new, a lot of people felt that it did kind of live up to the expectations. It was just slightly not as good as Modern Warfare 1, but it was still a really good follow-up. So that's where these people are coming from when they say, Black Ops ain't so good. I can understand that. It's like, okay, well, now we're the 4th. It's Modern Warfare 4 is what we're playing right now with Black Ops. And it's like, how many times can you play the same kind of style, the same formula, and still feel that it's fresh? It's starting to get stale.
Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, you're right. Here we go. So, 12/31. Here is the link to that video if you'd like to see it. That's 12/31/2010, when the faithful day.
Maybe that's why people are getting tired of this style of gameplay. On the flip side of all of that, one thing that I have noticed is people have started to complain about Black Ops, and it seems like it's because, oh man, I can't kill boost to get a fucking nuke and win instantly, and that was my favorite thing about Modern Warfare 2. Or, oh, I can't quickscope as easily as I used to be able to. Or, oh, there's not enough abusable stuff in this game where, there's actually people who play these games not.
Yeah, was that what the hot Twitter take? There's not enough abusable stuff in this game. Very common take.
Abusable stuff in this game where, there's actually people who play these games not to have fun, or not even to be tournament worthy or competitive, but just to do these really fucking abusable things in the game and abuse the game engine, and then they think they're good. And they make fucking video montages. Like, here's my kill boosting montage. What the fuck? Who cares about a kill boosting montage? You're a loser. You abuse the game engine to kill boost and get nukes. no one cares. It's like you abuse the game engine. That's not the way the game was intended to be played. You know, these people who are fucking sitting on domination and getting 96 kill streaks and, oh, I'm so good. That's not what the game is for.
That's not what the game's for, dumb fucks.
So, you know, I think a lot of people in that respect, they're kind of hating on Black Ops because it is not as abusable of a game as Modern Warfare 2 was, especially after the first few months of being released. And that's not right.
God.
And if that's the reason why these people really are saying it's not as good, I think that's bullshit, and I think you need to get a fucking life. But that's just my opinion.
Fucking life, that's just me.
I could say this, here we are in January, and at least from my perspective, I think that, I don't know, because we haven't played the first expansion map pack yet, but it's definitely not being as abused as Modern Warfare 2 was. Modern Warfare 2, after like the first month, that was it. It was noob tube, and there was fucking quickscope, and there was kill boost, and there was all this bullshit. And at least for the most part, that doesn't seem to be happening as much in Black Ops. So that's just my take on it. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion.
Yes,
so now we'll move on to Twitter questions. The first question
Twitter
is
questions.
JK Wong 111, and he says, "What is the most you've ever won in a money match?"
How about how much you've lost in a money match? Yeah, I know there's Attack on Titan to say you don't play. We'll do it. We'll do it one day, I promise. Chu would love to see that, I'm sure.
Wish I could tell you this because, you know, I have done many money matches in my gaming career.
Yeah, so then you should be able to remember your biggest one then, sir.
Unfortunately, I'm sad to report I've lost far more money than I've ever won. Thousands of dollars.
Ah, he's being honest. Hey, give him credit for being honest here.
And usually what it comes down to is, and it's kind of like the flip side of what I was saying earlier about Street Fighter, you know, back in the day you had to play in arcades, and when you play in an arcade, you have to play on what controls are there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't play on your own joystick.
Ah, he's going to blame it on the controls. Got it.
And what would happen is, you know, I would get really good at a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I would do really well at it at one place because I was really good on this one set of arcade controls. Then I would go to a tournament which had maybe a different style joystick, different style buttons, and I would fucking drop my combos and play like shit. And there was one point where I was really cocky about, you know, being in the tournament scene, and I kept betting these tournament level, you know, these players who were winning tournaments constantly no matter where they went, and I wasn't doing that, and I was betting the ridiculous amounts of money and losing repeatedly. But I don't know, probably the most money I ever won was a couple $100. I was never a participant in like thousands of dollars of a money match. I mean, I always was, you know, struggling with money and all of that, especially that I was going to college and stuff like that back in the day.
Yeah.
When I was playing Marvel 2 and stuff like that. So.
Oh, bite! Must have been thinking about a money match he lost against against Snake Eyes.
To be honest,
oh God, that was a complete stop of thought for the bite. Like talking stops. Listen to this. Watch this.
Playing Marvel 2 and stuff like that. So. To be honest.
Holy shit, that was a quick meal. That was a meal on the go. Holy shit. Just stop what we're doing 100% for the bite. I mean, that can wait till you're done recording, man. Oh, needed that. Oof, a lot better now.
So, like that.
Ready?
Back
Watch
in the
this
day
again.
when I was playing Marvel 2 and stuff like that. So.
Bite.
To be honest, I don't even know if I've ever really played a competitive money match for Super Turbo. I think by that point, I was getting into it, and that was around 2005 and later, when I was getting into Super Turbo at a competitive level, I really wasn't betting it because I didn't have money anymore. So it's probably not as interesting of an answer as you thought it was going to be. Next question is from Fuck Spith. His name is Fuck Spith. Wow.
Ow.
And this question is, what motivates you as a person who's being constantly bashed in the online gaming community? Well, I've already said this before, so I'll say it again. It's worth reiteration, but I won't talk about it too long. You know, the hate has always motivated me. It's kind of like someone saying,
hate.
You're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, and you can't do a certain thing. When someone tells me that I can't do something, it motivates me even more to be able to do it.
Here's a good example of something I'm going to make up in the spot.
You know, this might sound crazy, but the situation I'm in now, you know, being on YouTube for almost 3 years now, and having a really large, solid fan base of people who do support me, I never had that when I was really in the competitive fighting game scene. I've never had that when I had to actually talk to people and interact with people. People started hating me. So on YouTube, like, you don't have to interact with me. So it kind of works out. You guys kind of like me. The underdog. I was always the guy the dark horse who was going to go, and everyone knew that I was pretty good, but everyone was kind of rooting against me. I was the villain, the bad guy. And so.
Yeah, you got that right.
Now it's kind of flipping, and it's funny because, you know, yeah, sure, there are still trolls and there's haters and stuff like that.
It's kind of flipping. No, you just found a new audience of people that don't know how much of a douchebag you are yet. That's it. And then, but eventually YouTube figured that out too. And now we're there today in 2023.
For me, it just fuels me to do better. It's like they say, if you have...
Was that is he like
that, but for me,
punching his heart here? Watch this big ups here.
It just fuels me to do better.
Yeah,
it's like they say, if you have people who hate you, or if you have haters, it probably means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason that these people exist. So all I can say is, it fuels me more, it really does. And I'm sure when I start touring the tournament scene this year, when I go to EVO, if I go to EVO, which I hope I can do, and there's going to be, you're going to see the hardcore people from Shoryuken, the hardcore people who've been in the fighting community for a long time are going to be hating all over me. Oh, he's no good.
Oh, look at this. He's trying to hide his previous hate. All right, guys, you might be alarmed because the people from Shoryuken.com and EVO, they kind of hate me. But you guys think I'm cool, right? Don't forget that. You think I'm cool. So remember, I am cool. Despite what you might learn if I go to this place with more other people there, okay? Sound good?
Where is he? He hasn't been playing for years. Who the fuck does he think he is to be here and think he's going to win? But it's just going to fuel me more to do well.
Okay.
So thanks for the hate.
So just get ready.
Up next, actually, two really good questions from Native NY. His first question is, hey Phil, I just heard that they started taking Nintendo 3DS pre-orders. Will you be getting one at launch or will you wait? Great question.
Great question. Let me tell you about Nintendo first.
Is this. I'm not sure, and here's why. Number one, first of all, it's $250 fucking dollars. Dear Nintendo, you're ripping us off and we know it, okay?
Yeah. Ripped everyone off to the fucking bank, I'll tell you that. How many of those did they end up selling?
There's no way that the Nintendo 3DS costs more to make than the Wii. So
there's no way it costs more to make than the Wii.
So, fuck off, okay? Really, fuck off. You're ripping us off and we know it. But the thing with Nintendo is they now realize that whatever console they make, usually it's revolutionary. The Wii had motion control. The DS had a touchscreen.
You get the hint? It's revolutionary. So they can sell it for a lot of money because it is, as you say, revolutionary, right?
Then it had dual screens. Then, now it's 3D. So everything they release is revolutionary, and just like with Apple and their
that costs money.
products, there's always like this artificial demand and hype around Nintendo's hardware when it comes
How is that artificial? You said it's revolutionary. That's not artificial hype. That is hype.
out. So they know that it's going to sell out. They know it. So they
You get the hint?
said, gee, how can we make a pretty penny even if all the games at launch suck dick? And the answer is charge $250 for
The answer is be revolutionary.
fucking thing. So I'm kind of disappointed in Nintendo for that. So number one, it's really expensive. Number two, I looked at the launch game lineup and it looks like shit. I don't even see any games there that I might even want to play. So I was hoping that there might be a Zelda game, a Star Fox game, a Mario game. The games people
There's all of those things that are guaranteed to come out later.
want to play, not some fucking shovelware, which is probably what's going to end up happening and coming out for the system from the get-go. So, I don't know. The bottom line is this. I haven't been traveling a lot, and therefore my DS has been in my nightstand over here for quite some time. It hasn't really, been played at all. But back when I was traveling, like for example, in 2007, when I really heavily toured the tournament circuit, and I was playing it a lot, back then, I got a lot of use. So
You got those suites and no one else would join you in those suites of hotels you got? You had a lot of fun with the Wii there? Must have been fun, dude.
So, I guess the answer is
Wii tennis. Two players or one player? No, one player. The computer is like, are you sure? And Phil has to say, yeah, I'm sure.
it's going to depend on my needs this year. If I'm traveling a lot and I need something to do to kill time on a plane or whatever, I might actually get the 3DS. But the bottom line is, if the games don't impress me, I'm not going to spend $250 for it. It's too expensive for a handheld system. Why is a handheld system more expensive than a home console? I mean, let's be realistic. They're full of shit, and it's a ripoff. So
I thought you said it was revolutionary.
we'll see what happens with that.
First 3D system ever? I mean, not ever, excuse me, not ever, but first 3D handheld system of that quality?
His second question here, okay, we're doing all right on time. We're almost
Second question.
Is also, I haven't heard you talk about 3D HD TV much. Are you getting one in the future, or is it just a gimmick?
All right, here we go. I'm just going to remind everybody in, let's see, 2011, in 3 years, he would buy his own 3D television. So just keep that in mind as we hear this explanation of his thoughts of 3D television.
That, I have to say, it is a gimmick. And 100% 3D is a gimmick. It always has been a gimmick. 3D's been around for a long time, and it comes and goes. You had your red and blue eyeglass 3D from the
Red and blue.
70s. Then in the 80s, there was a new one. Then in the 90s, they tried this new 3D that didn't have...
What? There was a new one in the 80s? So the 70s, they had red and blue. In the 80s, they had a new one. And then the 90s, they had a what?
You had your red and blue eyeglass 3D from the 70s. Then in the 80s, there was a new one. Then in the
What was the one he's talking about in the 80s? Wasn't it also red and blue in the 80s? Okay.
90s, they tried this new 3D that didn't have the red and blue. It was like a clear plastic.
Oh,
And now it's
clear
coming back
plastic.
again. The bottom line is this. 3D,
Hey!
in real life, you don't see in fucking 3D, okay? When a softball comes at your face and smashes your nose,
Oh my God! It's 3D, the 3D part again?
in life, you don't see in fucking 3D, okay? When a softball comes at your face and smashes your nose, you don't see a third-dimensional ball coming at you. You don't.
Oh my God, it's back! It's the second. It's the second. It's the second. Don't call it a comeback. You thought you saw the last? Well, hey, big ups, everybody. This is what we find. This is what we find if you watch all of them. Some people might have dipped out way earlier, and I wouldn't blame them, but we found it together. The second 3D softball. Excuse me, 2D softball.
3D, in real life, you don't see in fucking 3D, okay? When a softball comes at your face and smashes your nose, you don't see a third-dimensional ball coming at you. You don't. Really, most things that we see, we have a very limited depth perception. And 3D is an artificial way to enhance depth perception in a 2D plane. It's not necessary. Really, it doesn't add much to gameplay at all.
In 3D, you don't see. Nah, go on. One more time. One more. Oh, God. I can't make it. I can't make it. Oh. Yes. I gotta put that on Twitter real quick. Hang on. Hang on. All right, you ready? Here's what happens when a ball comes at your face. Let's check it again. Oh, God. What happens? All right, if there's a ball, here comes the ball. Okay, the ball has been sighted, but then you don't see that in 3D. So, God. I can't.
Okay? When a softball comes at your face and smashes your nose, you don't see a third-dimensional ball coming at you. You don't. Really, most things that we see, we have a very limited depth perception. And 3D is an artificial way to enhance depth perception in a 2D plane. It's not necessary. Really, it doesn't add much to gameplay at all. So, it's a gimmick. And I have to say that having to wear fucking glasses. First of all, I hate glasses to begin with. I don't have perfect eyesight, but I don't wear glasses because I fucking hate glasses. Why the
I don't have perfect eyesight, but I don't wear glasses because I hate them?
begin with? I don't have perfect eyesight, but I don't wear glasses because I fucking hate glasses.
Okay.
Why the hell do I want to sit there and have to wear glasses when I'm playing a game or watching a movie? It's an annoyance. And I really feel that right now what's happening is all these TV makers have now sold HD TVs, and they're like, shit, how can we sell more product now? Because we realize that the sales are slowing down, and the economy's bad right now.
Business side Phil.
Really, no one's, looking to buy an expensive TV. How can we make people buy more TVs? Oh, we'll push 3D and claim that it's the next generation, the next step. It's not.
Gout him.
It's going to go away.
Gout
Trust me on
him.
this. It's not going to be around for any significant amount of time. They may still sell it. It might be in your TV, but you're not going to be doing 3D.
DSP, when given the choice of any TV he wanted in 2014, 3 years after this video was recorded, would buy a 3D television. He would not use that 3D television, but he would buy a 3D television.
Everything. You're not going to have 3D cable. You're not going to have, everything in 3D compatible. So it's not worth it. It's overpriced. It's a gimmick. It's worthless. And there's really no reason to even be worrying about it. Sure, there may be some instances like Avatar, a movie that's completely filmed in 3D, where maybe it'll enhance the experience, but it's not anything that's mainstream. And
Holy shit, Avatar is already a thing at this point? That's crazy. Avatar was already a thing?
Fooled by these media companies, by these marketing companies,
Holy
by
shit,
these
feels like we're time traveling.
TV manufacturers who are telling you that it's the next wave of technology. It's not, and it doesn't add anything significant to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm,
All right, the last question.
Last question. Thank fuck. Last question of the night. Let's
for
go.
this long Ask the King episode is from XUberXHacksX. And his question is, how many fallback plans do you have for all the nonsense that's been happening to you? And I hope you don't need another one.
All the nonsense that's been happening to you. He's been talking about trolls for 13 years. Excuse me, 12 years at this point.
Well, as you know, my life's been quite a roller coaster ride since September when I was laid off from my full-time job. First doing stuff on YouTube exclusively, and relying on the AdSense program, which then got shut down for supposed fraud, click fraud.
That's when you said people to click, excuse me, you said comment, rate, and participate, and also specifically told everyone to click on the ads. Yes, that was click fraud. Thank you.
The AdSense program, which then got shut down for supposed fraud, click fraud. By the way,
yes.
No, it wasn't shut down because somewhere 3 years ago I might have mentioned in a video that to click on ads. That's not what happened. It was shut down for click fraud, which means that YouTube suspected that.
Semantic side Phil saying he wasn't shut down for saying click on the ads. YouTube was they shut me down for a different, separate reason than that. Okay, so I said that, but I wasn't shut down because of that.
ads. That's not what happened. It was shut down for click fraud,
Ah.
which means that YouTube suspected that people were clicking who weren't actually interested in the ads. So I can't control that, and there's nothing I can do about it, and that's why
You told everyone to click the ads, though,
I think
didn't
that
you?
honestly, AdSense isn't a very good program. I think that it's not reliable, but that's just my 2 cents. Then after that, moving over to Blip TV for a month, and then getting kicked off of Blip TV because of all the bullshit that happened there with trolling.
Blip TV bullshit happening because of trolling. The bullshit, sir, was you saying some things about a certain race? I can't remember exactly.
Kicked off of Blip TV because of all the bullshit that happened there with trolling.
All the bullshit that happened there with trolling. That was a big troll, wasn't it?
Well, I guess, a lot of people would say, are you on your 3rd backup plan, all that? Well, let me tell you something. Someone like me, like I said, I don't give up easily. Now, obviously, if I'm destitute, yes, it's time to go back to the normal humdrum life of trying to find a regular full-time job. But as of right now, I'm not. I'm doing fine. And things are looking positive yet again. And, at the very least, I didn't have to go back. I mean, I have hundreds of backup plans.
I have hundreds of backup plans. Yeah, with all those jobs you couldn't find before you had to ask Daddy to help you.
Even begun. I mean, I'm on plan C right now. Well, what about plan, D5, rob a bank, or plan, M27, become a male prostitute? And hell, it even goes all the way to plan, Z4, which, sell bodily parts and organs. So, not necessarily in that particular order, but there's plenty of things that I can go back on. And, I joke now about it, but, I'm enjoying where this is going. The positivity of the fans has kept me going as long as we all stay positive. There's lots of things that I still have not pursued that I could pursue because right now, I really enjoy doing this independently. But there's a lot of options out there for me that I could consider. So by no means am I giving up. By no means is this the last straw. And I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from my option coming up. And I will give everyone more information as it gets closer and things get more settled in with what I'm planning on doing. But it's looking good. So anyway, thank you everyone for your support. Sorry about the 2-week delay with this video of Ask the King. We will resume in 2 more weeks. February 3rd will be the next episode. I have created a new thread on the forums to put up those questions, so please check it out. I'm DSP. Thanks a lot. This has been Ask the King. See you next time.
Oh, what was that effect? Oh yeah, what's the effect on the bottom left? Okay, wait till Jenna get out of here. Hang on, look at this effect he drops on this thing. Let me get Jenna out of here. Hang on, Jenna. Sorry, you have to go right now. Not working out. Sorry to RS Nerd. Hold on a second. We got to see this. Now I can't make you wait a whole fucking minute. Here, I'll go like this. I'll do this. Make it simplify. Okay, watch this. Watch how. Look at his. See his fucking logo. Watch this. How this effect works right here. Watch this.
February 3rd will be the next episode. I have created a new thread on the forums.
Watch.
So please check it out. I'm DSP. Thanks a lot. This has been Ask the King.
That's trippy, right? That's not. Is that intentional? It does like the neck fat roll. Ready? Watch the neck fat transition. Here we go. Neck fat transition engage.
So please check it out. I'm DSP. Thanks a lot. This has been Ask.
It's like the neck is being put back together, but Ask the King is being taken away.
Those questions. So please
Here
check
we
it
go.
out. I'm DSP.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. This has been Ask the King. See you next time.
Awesome. I was hype. All right. Anyways, what a day it's been. I think this is a cool episode. I think we started slow, but holy shit, we got 3D again. We got not even answering a question for about the fucking whatever the fuck that question was. It was zoned out so fucking hard. That was very hype. That ended up hype for sure. We got some Just Nuang slander. We got some Cannon Bros talk. I mean, that was hype, man. 3D was fake again. Hype, dude. But anyways, you're all fucking legends. Thanks everybody for chilling. Next week at this same time frame, Atlas the bookkeeper will be in the house. That'll be a lot of fun as well. But you're all legends. WPIG, of course, will be broadcasting live tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get you ready for that being said, which will start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Time for me to go to sleep. You're all fucking legends. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you the next time. Bye.
Currently, I've got 125 likes on the stream.